Sunday Express.
A section of Orange Democratic Movement leaders led by Chairperson Gladys Wanga have vowed to stay put in the broad-based government and even back President William Ruto's 2027 re-election bid. However, another faction led by ODM, Secretary General Edwin Sifuna distanced itself from the remarks, saying their late leader Raila Odinga's last instruction was that ODM would have a presidential candidate in 2027. This appearing to enlarge the emerging cracks within the Orange Party post Raila's demise, even as others call for unity as a tribute to the departed former Prime Minister. Giverson Minor now reports.
ODM silale bado mapambano.
Perceived internal wrangles and cracks within the Orange Democratic Party loudly played out on Sunday during the final send-off of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga in Bondo, Siaya County. What appeared to be two factions tore each other apart publicly over the broad-based government and the 2027 general election.
And I remember him speaking at the burial of the late Dr. Phoebe Asio, and he said he made a clear decision to work with you for the stability and unity of the nation inside the broad-based government.
Na wale ambao wanaeneza mambo mengine hapa, Baba alisema, who has told you? Who has told you?
It all began when Luo elder Odungi Randa, in the Luo dialect, said ODM had been in the cold for far too long. Kisumu woman member of the National Assembly and Raila's sister Ruth Odinga then sounded a warning.
And we are going to go to any negotiation table with a strong, united one ODM.
The faction led by Chairperson Gladys Wanga, Deputy Leaders Godfrey Otsotsi, and Abdul Somad Nasir, among others, maintained it was Raila's wish to stay in the broad-based government and back President William Ruto's re-election bid.
That is the last standing instruction that Baba gave us. And as a people and as a party, that is where we will stand.
Baba atakuwa na furaha sana kule mbinguni kama hiyo 10-point agenda itakamilika vile alikuwa anataka.
Hatukukusaliti wakati uko hai na hatutakusaliti wakati umefariki. Tutakaa ndani ya serikali ya broad-based.
The declaration received backing from the cabinet secretaries drawn from the Orange Party.
Raila showed us before he died that he wanted us to be in government. As a community, as a party, we will be in broad-based government. We will support broad-based government. We will work with you.
I was taken to government of William Ruto by Raila Amolo Odinga. And Your Excellency, that is where I belong and that is where I shall stay.
However, Secretary General Edwin Sifuna appeared to lead a second faction, alluding that the late ODM leader indicated they would field a presidential candidate in 2027.
Baba aliongea kwa kinywa chake mwenyewe. Na waomba viongozi msiingize maneno kwa mdomo ya mtu ambaye amelala. Alisema yeye mwenyewe. Akasema kama chama lazima tujiandae kwa ajili ya uchaguzi wa mwaka 2027.
National Assembly Minority Whip and Suna 8th Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed saying ODM would either form government or be in a coalition forming the government in 2027.
Another thing he told us, lazima tukae katika serikali ya broad-based. It's on record. Wale wanasikia wasikie, wale wako na macho waone.
The Orange Democratic Movement is celebrating 20 years this year, and it awaits to be seen how the internal politics play out and how the party transitions without Raila Odinga. Giverson Minor, Sunday Express.
this election we can also use as the first election where we can have some critical constitutional issues that have never been resolved. We can have a referendum going side by side. Another issue that can be perhaps dealt with could be perhaps the structure of governance. When one wanted to talk about introducing in the NATCO report the issue of a prime minister, this could be a time.
Hey guys, yani munanisikia na yani hello muted. Oh God, man, thank you very much, you guys. I didn't know. Gosh. I don't know how many hours we've run without sound, but it is. I think my sound is back now. Themba, Themba, my brother, man, happy New Year. Nice to see you. Merry Christmas, not Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, my brother. Thank you for coming in. And I don't know, Themba, can you tell me how many hours I've gone on mute? Man, my technical team are on leave and they don't even care. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben, for telling me that indeed I was on mute. Oh, I hope I was not on mute all this of the time. But you guys were just happy seeing me and giving me a thumbs up. Why? Gosh, why are you guys giving me Alex? Thank you very much. Even Ken, my brother Ken, man, I was on mute and you didn't have manze niambieni bana. Hello, nice to see you. Hello, you are muted, no video. VP, wacha basi, wacha sasa tuchape show. Mimi hii show sasa tunaianza upya vale tulianzia bana. If I've been mute all this time, then it's crazy. I mean, surely. That is sad. That is sad, man. That is very, very sad. We need to start all over again. And, just as usual. Bana, it happens, guys. Thank you, Themba. Thank you, Themba. Sasa show ndio sasa iko tamu. Sasa Themba is coming on the studio. Hiyo itakuwa ni show kali sana. Get the views from this friend of mine, Themba. It will be a very nice show. I wish Ben could be also here, but inakaa ameshikana job kidogo. But anyway, link nimekutumia hapo Themba. Kama umeona link, click on the link and join the conversation. And this conversation is going to be lit. Poleni sana. All this time tumekuwa on mute, but again, hizo video mumeona, na what was informing the conversation is literally what is happening in the Orange Democratic Movement. And gosh, a lot is happening in the Orange Democratic Movement. I will just give you a sneak preview of what Ben is here. Thank you very much, Ben. Karibu sana, brother man.
No,
Karibu.
mzalendo.
Yes.
Niko occupied.
Yeah, lakini najua uko occupied.
Umekuwa na show the entire time you're muted. Did you realize that?
I didn't. I mean, I've been on the show all this time and I've not realized that I was muted.
But I did on the comment section.
Yeah, I was not watching the comment section. I was just busy. I was busy with my with my team. Simbanataya is also here. But thank you very much. I think I will have to start all over again. And man, it happens. My technical team are not around. But thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. If I didn't see that call, then he's showing enda hivyo hivyo.
Alright, thank you so much. Salimia Simba Nataya.
Simba Nataya, Simba mwenyewe. Hey, habari ya huko bana Simba, karibu.
Asante sana Mzalendo, tumeingia kwa show, unajiongelesha peke yako mpaka hata tumeshindwa vipi. Sasa ndio nikasema wacha tujaribu kabisa hapa tu.
Bana, nyinyi marafiki ni wabaya. Marafiki pia ni wabaya bwana. Ai. Yaani hiyo wakati wote bwana najiongelesha peke yangu. Unajua sioni mic zangu zikionyesha najiongelesha, kumbe
Hapana,
mic iko mute.
Mzalendo, mpaka nimekutext kwa WhatsApp.
Bana,
Nimekutext mpaka kwa WhatsApp.
WhatsApp ungenipigia simu vile Ben amenipigia, lakini haidhuru. Poleni sana those who have been watching me.
Nimekutext mpaka WhatsApp, you are not responding.
Pole. I was busy on this show. But anyway, we start all over again. Hakuna kurara leo. Temba pia yuko hapa bana. Leo nakwambia hii show ni moto. Temba, Merry Christmas my brother.
Merry Christmas. How are you?
I am doing great. I've not seen you for a while. You've been enjoying Christmas where? Umekuwa wapi? Up and about, or
around and about.
what did you do that is special on Christmas?
Christmas is a time for family. Christmas is a time for family and friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just take it cool.
Ni kama umekula Christmas sana mpaka hata sasa uwezi jua uko peke yako.
Yeah, Christmas is a time for family. It is a time just to enjoy and be together. I think mine. I had a very nice Christmas. I called my kids to come around, and we had the little that we have to, so that we can be together this Christmas, and of course exchanging a few gifts.
Naona rafiki yangu Demba, baada ya karibu miaka 4 hivi ndio tunaonana kwa mara nyingine.
Bana wewe sasa Temba amebadilika. Huyu nao ndio watu wale wale waliingia kwa broad based kabisa. Waliingia kwa broad based kababa. Yeye ndiye alikuwa anabeba diary ya baba. Pengine atatuambia.
Lakini Mzalendo, nataka nikwambie hivi, mtu kama ulikuwa unaamini kabisa msimamo na yani ile hisia yenye ilikuwa ndani ya baba kuhusu nchi ya Kenya, nafikiria he meant well after joining William Ruto, because things were not going right. Nchi ilikuwa imetekwa. Alifanya nini? Alisema nchi ya Kenya hawezi kuwa kama ako hai aone ikiachiliwa kwa mbwa na wananchi wako ndani. So hii ndio ilifanya nchi kawa thabiti mpaka nchi ikatumia. Sasa kitendo kama hicho hakiwezi fanywa na wengi. Kama Raila Odinga baba alikuwa ni mtu ambaye alikuwa ni munafiki, ile ndio wakati alichukua responsibility yake, nchi chomeke na yeye apate kuungwa mkono, kwa sababu wakati ule angejitokesha tu hivi, hii nchi ilikuwa imeenda na angekuwa rais wakati huo. Lakini ni mtu ambaye sana wakati mwingi ameamini mambo ya demokrasia, na akasema huyu ndiye aliyechaguliwa na kikatiba ndio rais, lazima amuunge mkono. Mbona watu wengine hapa katikati walete mambo mengi, waanza kufikiria mambo ambayo sio? So sisi kama sisi wenye tulianza kufuata siasa na nyayo za baba, pale penye alituacha hatupanduki.
Male mliwachwa wewe na Secretary General, nani ndio anajua mali baba, anajua dari ya baba kushinda mwingine?
Sasa hapo hilo swali umeuliza ni swali mzuri. Chama ni cha wananchi kwa Secretary General. Secretary General analetewa karatasi, anasema kitu chama imesema. Period.
Temba.
Yeye tu ni microphone atapewa, vile tumekuambia bwana, hatukusikii. Sasa vile sisi ndio wenye show.
Sawa wenye show, nyinyi wananchi. Unajua hapa lazima upeane mtazamo wako na vile wananchi wanafikiria kule nje, because let me tell you one thing, these leaders watch these programs and some of them are so incompetent to make decisions that they rely on Simba Nataya and Themba to give them direction. So wakisikia kitu tumesema hapa, yulia ituko mbele, wameenda wakaimplement. So be very, very careful not to misguide the public, Simba Nataya, on the remarks of one Raila Odinga.
Mzalendo.
Yes.
Nani amemmislead mwingine kuhusu nini?
Mi nakwambia tu hiyo ni maoni yako. Sema kwa maoni yangu, this is what I feel, but si hiyo ni maoni yako, si ndio ndugu yangu?
Nimesema hii na wacha nirudie. Wale wenye tulikuwa tunaamini baba what he meant for this country, penye alituacha, hapo ndio tuko na hatukanduki, si ndio? Nimesema sio mimi, si yuko peke yangu. Unataka nisema niko peke yangu na hatuko peke, na si yuko peke yangu?
Abas, umesema ukweli kabisa. Baba aliwaacha kwa opposition na hapo ndio mko. So si bado mko kwa opposition ama mko kwa serikali?
Opposition hapana. Opposition hapana. Sisi tuko ndani ya serikali ya mseto.
Na so wacha niulize swali hii kwa bwana Themba. Themba,
na by the way, Mzalendo, ukue na time kidogo leo.
Mimi nina time.
Rais leo William Ruto atakuwa Suna East.
Atakuwa Suna East. Kwa Junet Aya, Themba, I wanted to ask you this question, and perhaps maybe you have got a different answer. We see the Secretary General moving in a certain direction. We see the ODM chair lady moving in a certain direction. We see the party leader also moving in a different direction. We see other members of ODM party threatening to also leave the party should they take a certain kind of direction. I mean, this confusion, is it strengthening the party or weakening the party?
That's a very good question, Mzalendo. I want to start by, first of all, appreciating one thing that politics abhors vacuum. So politics will continuously be happening, and it is possible that such things are happening to ODM. It is also good that we are having a discussion around ODM, even way after Raila has died. You see, so like for the last 2 weeks, the party that has been given a limelight and talked about is ODM. Yet it is not lost on all of us that by the time Baba was dying, the people who are left in the opposition was Akina Kalonzo. So we are expecting that someone like Kalonzo and Martha Karua, who are left in the Azimio, Martha Karua left the Azimio and she went on. Kalonzo was left in the Azimio. They ought to have stepped into that those shoes, and probably we could be having an opposition place that is not that there's no vacuum. But you see what has happened right now. Successfully, ODM has made it impossible for any other person to pick that vacuum because they have kept us busy. What we are seeing on the national stage are ODM internal issues. Those are their internal struggles. We probably right now do have struggles within UDA that are not being made public. We have struggles within WIPA that are not being made public. But what has happened? ODM issues have become public. And as I say in politics, positive or negative publicity is good for you. So what is happening, we must note, is that, first of all, ODM is being discussed very seriously, to the extent that now we are saying that should we be able to allow ODM to remain in opposition or not? That ought not to be a discussion if we had people who are not in the arrangement, broad-based arrangement right now, who are active. So the confirmation is that there seems to be a vacuum that was left by Baba that has not been fulfilled. That is point number one. Point number two, I understand that with the death of Baba comes in the sense of a struggle for control, which is common with any other party, where the party leader has left. So what we are seeing is a normal progression of a party. When their party leader has left, you are likely to see a jostle for power. There's a power struggle. Who is supposed to be in control? And I want to point out something, Mzalendo, that probably we need to note. Sifuna has consistently come out saying that Baba did not say that you're supporting anybody 2 term. Yet he goes ahead to say that everywhere is 1 term. So if you are going to use that argument, then you'd also ask, at what point did Baba tell him that Ruto is going to be 1 term? If it is what is good for the goose should be good for the gander. He was there when they were signing that document. Actually, he was the Secretary General signing that document, and the 10-point agenda, which outlined the 10 points and up to when. So as it is, if Sifuna was to be honest with himself, he would say, okay, fine, there's nowhere we say 2 term, but neither did we say 1 term. Let's wait and talk about this after these 10-point agendas have been reviewed in 2027. Then now we can proceed on with the other campaign that we are going to talk about. So you see lack of genuineness. In my view, I read politics, I read power, I read jostling for control of either one or more of the people. Finally, so that probably we can move on to the next question. I don't trust Orengo. Orengo, if you look at his political history with Baba, any associations that Baba has gotten into, initially he has been against them. Initially, Orengo was against Raila joining Kibaki for them to win in 2002. Actually, Orengo went in and vied as a presidential candidate, which he lost very badly. He was against Baba joining Uhuru initially. He joined after the pressure moved on. He was also against even this, Baba coming in and joining Ruto. So for him, they have had, I think, a very dicey relationship, especially politically, So for me, I don't trust him. I don't trust his issue of being guiding the ODM on whatever way. And I think Mbadi put it very clearly at some point. And he said that Orengo might be a senior lawyer, he's good with the courts, but politically, I think they have had a very dicey relationship with Baba, if you can follow their political. He's always been against certain decisions that Baba has made. And some of them have had to be made with him outside. He makes very good defense legally, but politically, he has always had that kind of a tangent. Which for me, I think right now, his concentration should be on working for the people of CI, because he is also a governor who will be looking for a second term. And he owes it to the people of Siaya to work for them and deliver. Because we have 47 county governments and one national government. All these people will be evaluated on their performance. Will not be evaluated on whether there is a second term, whether we have a second term or not. If the people of Siaya have not benefited from what Orengo has done for that county government, they will not have benefited. So I don't see him coming strongly about the people of Siaya, while other counties are actually jostling to get their own development. So I thought he would be in the forefront instead of going around talking about how Ruto should be one term or two term. He should be talking about why should he be trusted to be given a second term by the Siaya people. When other counties are talking about development, are talking about projects that are being launched, all we hear about Orengo every week is about one term. I don't think, and he's a county president, so he should be. I think he has mixed priorities, which in my view I don't find well guided. As for ODM, finally, Mzalendo, I think it's a good thing we are seeing as a party, and all the parties I identified. We are going to see a little bit of a destabilization. Now, if they successfully move through this, it will shake it a little bit, and if they successfully go through it, then ODM will emerge a strong party beyond Baba. But for now, I think it's normal what we are seeing in any political party. You remember Baba if he says right is right, left right left. Right now you see everybody has a voice, so they are going to strive and struggle for their voice. Yes.
I think where you are right partly, but where you miss the point on James Orengo is that Orengo has been an headliner in politics for a very long time, and he has represented himself as a liberator in most of the struggle, and give him credit where it's due. Is somebody who has been defending the constitution of Kenya, and you know that you need to give him credit there. And he believes that the opposition is there to check the government, and that is the role of parliament. Those in the opposition are supposed to check the executive. Now, Orengo's fear is the protection of democracy. I don't know whether you are seeing that if everybody else joins government, William Ruto's government. Suppose everybody joins government, for example, Themba. What are we talking about? GCP, Wiper, everybody else joins government. What kind of country are we talking about?
That's a good question, Namzalendo. But we need to say yes, there ought to be. The Constitution says, as far as the Constitution is concerned, Namzalendo, we need to be very clear. The Constitution does not have the position for opposition as it is right now. The Constitution has the executive, it has the parliament, it has the judiciary. In parliament, you have the minority and the majority. That's what the Constitution has. Now, there's no preserve that a particular party ought to be in opposition. There's nowhere that it has been written that only ODM should be in opposition or only DCP should be in opposition. The minority party takes the minority side. So what we need to be clear about, because I do have a problem with the suggestion that if ODM is not in opposition, then it is not a party enough. Opposition is a place, or minority is a place where any other minority party can fill that space. You see? So we should be talking about, okay, fine, what are the voices that are not in broad-based government doing? For example, right now, we do have Wiper that are not in broad-based government, all right? We have other smaller parties that are not in broad-based government. What are they doing currently? They ought to have reason to that space. It is not also assumption that if you're in government, you're not speaking for the people. Both of the sides are speaking for the people. both of the sides. The side of the majority is speaking for the majority of the people. The side of the minority is speaking for the minority of the people. So those voices do matter. My problem is suggesting that if ODM is not in opposition, then opposition is dead. That is not true. The constitution is very clear. We do have in parliament, parliamentarians are supposed to check and balance the executive. So the politics around it notwithstanding, we need to appreciate that yes, for a long time there has been the suggestion that only certain kind of people ought to be in opposition. That if those people are not in opposition, there's no opposition. That's I think a sense that needs to be dealt with right now. That nobody has been written that so and so should be in opposition and so should be in parliament or in government. Opposition, any party that has the minority goes to the minority side. And so the suggestion by Orengo that the only way that Kenya or the presidency can be kept in check is only through ODM being in opposition. That's a very wrong notion. Number two, I agree with you with the politics of struggle that Orengo has participated in. But as we keep on moving, politics and everything is dynamic. That is something that Raila understood, that Orengo never understood. Orengo never understood that there are times that you need to shake hands. And Baba always said it. That's why for me, I agreed with Baba more in his a philosophy in the study of how to manage politics. Because he decides that the best way to manage our politics right now is having to talk to Ruto, because you can't struggle for rights when you don't have a state. A state of anarchy does not guarantee a right for anyone. So if you have a state, then you can fight for those rights in a state that is there. So I tend to imagine, even right now, Orengo is being very, very, very what do you call it? Very, very cunning, because a few days later you find him at State House shaking hands with Ruto, looking for some. He's not even clear on what he wants. So I think even some people like Orengo ought to exit politics for a while to allow other blood and other people. Now, yes, they struggle. Like someone says that a dancer should know when to exit the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Probably he's honed himself so much with the struggle that he doesn't understand that politics has a way of dynamics, that it changes. The politics of 1992, struggling for multi-party democracy, could not be maybe it's not the politics of 2025, where you require certain ways of negotiation, reaching out, getting to know, okay, what works and how do we manage development for my people. Can you imagine Orengo is a governor right now, but a governor who constantly, his only work that we know him for is criticizing the president, of our president cannot be two-term. Where did you see Orengo coming in and hearing that the county government of Siaya has launched, let's say, a food program? Governor Sakaja is busy launching a food program to feed people. The other governors are always giving out something that they are doing. When did you see Orengo launching something for people of Siaya? Are you saying that people of Siaya have already had enough? They have had enough development. They don't need it. So their governor can be globetrotting into funerals to talk about how Ruto should be one term. I think Orengo, fine. If he wants politics or opposition, then he should step down as a governor, so that we have someone who is, because a governor is a member of the executive. And if a governor is a member of the executive, he should be the one being checked, not busy talking about another president. He's a president of his county. So I think, yes, I agree with you. We agree with Orengo's struggle, what Orengo did, and his part and his participation. We won't, we don't take that away from you. But it seems he's not in touch with the politics of 2025. He's still stuck at ODM being the party that is always going to be in the streets and demonstrating. Instead of knowing that right now we don't want, many people have died You don't want more people dying from the Luo Nyanza area, because even when demonstrations were taking place, that reminds me of something I would have to say. When Sifuna seems to have forgotten even his membership, because the people who made ODM to be so strong are the people whose blood was shed during demonstrations. People were killed in Kisumu, Kondele. People were dying in, Migori and those other areas, in Kibra and stuff like. Those are his people, the party of which he is the Secretary General to. So if you are still saying you want these people to still go back to Mandamano, what are you trying to say? You are out of touch with your membership. You need to be in touch with your membership. And if those people are saying we do not want to go back to the streets, that's where Baba left us. So you need to be going down there and saying it doesn't matter what you want as secretary. I think he said it pretty well. Secretary General is just a spokesman for the party. He was never even elected. He was selected by Baba. Which National Delegates Conference elected Sifuna?
That's a good question for ODM members to answer. But meanwhile, let me read for you a comment from Isaac. Isaac Chela. Hey, hiyo jina ni Chela what? Chelego. Chelelgo. Liberation is not only from the West. Orengo is an attention seeker, and that is how he has been able to step to every way of his life. Shikuku did the same, and Butere never gained anything. I think we are missing the point, and some viewers are also missing the point. And my panelists here, Simba Nataya and Themba, I really want you to convince our viewers at home that it is important for ODM to join government, and the reason why they need to join government. Is it the pressure for development, or what is it that they want to be co-opted in? We have also seen a section of ODM members that saying that they want the deputy president's position. The stakes are even higher now. They are demanding for more positions in government. What Orengo is saying, I saw a clip where Orengo is saying, those who are in government right now, who are in the handshake, who are enjoying government, people like Mbadi and everyone, are enjoying, but there are people down on the ground are not enjoying anything. So, Simba Nataya, since Mbadi joined the government, has anything increased in your pocket? Simba.
Mzalendo, asante sana, lakini kwanza kabisa mimi ningetaka kuomba tusiwe wachoyo wa akili zetu. Tusiwe watu ambao tunaonekana sisi tuko na akili, na hiyo akili tunakuwa wachoyo, na ni kitu inatakiwa itusaidie. Jambo la
Simba, inakaa hiyo internet yako bwana huko sasa, itabidi uongee na Kabogo, kwa sababu uko kwa serikali. Tunataka hiyo internet yako ikuwe strong kabisa. Ongea na
As is coming, eh?
Yes, yeah, you can come in. You can just...
Orengo ako na internet yangu.
Nakusikia sahi, nakusikia, lakini endelea tu, nitakwambia kama iko mzuri ama mbaya.
Yes. Orengo ako na naibu wake. Naibu wake wamekuwa wakisukumana na yeye mpaka kukawa na impeachment yenye ilikuwa nullified kwa Senate, if I'm not wrong. Hiyo inaonyesha kwamba hiyo ilikuwa bado ni mambo ya uongozi tunaongelea. Lakini sana, nafikiria Themba ameweka ili swala kwa njia ambayo ni ya kisasawa na yenye inaeleweka. Orengo kuna wakati wake alikuwa anacheza hiyo ngoma ya upinzani. Na hiyo wakati aliondoka, yeye ako katika uongozi kama ule uongozi wa executive. Na ako na challenges zake katika ile ofisi yake na huyo naibu wake. Ajue hiyo ndio struggle yenye iko na wananchi. Wananchi wako na haja ya maendeleo, sio kuwa katika upinzani na streets. Na ndio sababu serikali yetu ama muundo wa serikali yetu imeundwa kwamba baada ya uchaguzi watu wakae chini waendelee na maendeleo ya nchi vile tunavyoona kwa sasa hivi. Lakini haya mengine ambayo unaambiwa kwamba wewe lazima ukae ile kona ukipinga serikali, ili hali uko na wabunge kama sasa hivi. Kwa mfano, Rigathi Gachagua ameunda chama, amesema ameiweka katika United Opposition, lakini pale kuna mawaziri 9 ambao na ma-PS kwa pamoja wanatoka sehemu moja na wote wako kwa hiyo serikali wanaendelea kufanya kazi. Mbona hajasema kwamba hao waondoke wajiunge na yeye wapinge serikali yenye yeye mwenyewe anapinga? Hiyo inamaanisha kwamba kwa upande mmoja hii mkono inapokea, hii ingine ikiinua juu. Kwa hivyo tusiwe watu ambao tunataka kukataza akili zetu kufanya kazi vile inastahili. Ngome ya chama cha ODM ni Nyanza na Western na Coast. Inatakiwa tukae upinzani watu wengine wakifanyiwa maendeleo, kwa sababu kulingana na budget yetu tunajua kwamba serikali kuu ndio hii huwa inapaki na pesa nyingi. Asilimia hii 15 ambayo ni pato la kitaifa ambayo hugawiwa kaunti 47, pesa zote huwa zinapaki kwa serikali kuu. Ukae kando, hiyo serikali ikae, wewe uipinge na usitake maendeleo kutoka kwa hiyo serikali na unalipa ushuru. Hayo ndio maendeleo.
Simba Nataya, wacha nikukosoe kidogo. Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya anapaswa kuleta maendeleo katika eneo yote ya Kenya, bila kuangalia ama kubagua kama walipigia kura hiyo chama ilimpigia ama hiyo jamii ilimpigia kura. Tukiangalia siasa namna hiyo, tunarudi wakati wa enzi wa Moi na tunarudi tena kwa hii katiba, kwa sababu hii katiba hii ilileta devolution. Devolution ililetwa aswa kwa sababu ya mambo ya maendeleo, kwa sababu Moi alikuwa anatumia hiyo power unaongea juu yake sahi, that Ruto anafaa kutumia hiyo power kugandamiza wale wakumpigia kura. Moi alikuwa anatumia hiyo vizuri sana, na kina Raila na wengine wao wakaona they needed to liberate the country, and the only way is to bring devolution. And when devolution came, hata Kinambai waliwaambia vizuri sana that mkifanya kazi vizuri kama gavana Orengo, unasema Temba anasema hakuna maendeleo yote nafanya. Ni ukweli, watu wengi wa Siaya wanasema hakuna maendeleo James Orengo anafanya. Ukienda kule Homa Bay pia wanategemea serikali ndio ilete maendeleo, ilhali pesa wanazipata. So how do we strengthen the devolution kama tunaanza kusema ya kuwa lazima tukue kwa serikali ndio tupate maendeleo? I mean, hiyo argument yako ni ya kitambo sana, ni ya zamani.
Mzalendo, nakubaliana na wewe, lakini katiba inasema nini? 15% ya pato la kitaifa. Hiyo ni katiba yetu. Pesa zote huwa zinapaki katika serikali kuu. Hiyo haiwezi kuwa ya zamani.
Zigawiwe 47 counties.
Mzalendo, katiba ndio imetoa hiyo ugafi wa rasilimali yetu ya nchi ya Kenya. Kwa pato la kitaifa 15%, igawiwe serikali 47. Pesa zingine zimeenda wapi? Zimepaki kwa serikali kuu. Hiyo serikali ambayo unataka urushie mawe ndio upate hayo maendeleo. Angalia kama sasa hivi Ledama Olekina, ukikumbuka katika ule ukumbi wa Bomas, ni vita ilikuwa ndani. Na juzi alikuwa anafanya nini? Ni nini imemfanya akawa anafikiria kwamba hii ndio njia ya kupata maendeleo? Yeye ndiye amehost rais juzi usiku kwake kwa Boma, na alikuwa anapigana ndani ya Bomas kuhusu huyo mtu. Ni nini imebadilika? Nyinyi ndio nimesema tusiwe watu ambao tutakuwa wachoyo wa akili zetu.
I can only imagine in where we are, the opposition being hosted and saying that sasa Democrats from today we are going to be working with the government in all the policies that are.
You see, Mzalendo, what Simbaneta is saying is something that just on the question that you asked,
Mm.
uh, the the nuancing and the suggestion that there are people who are supposed to be in opposition. That is not constitutional. The constitution says this. The constitution says that there is the executive and then there's parliament. By the way, did you know that after you have already had an election, other than purposes of determining who parliamentaries are or getting people into power, the next thing where parties play a part is the idea of deciding which is the minority and majority party in parliament.
Yeah, by the numbers.
Just that. After that, the president is free to nominate from any side people, members of his cabinet. There's no restraint from the constitution of who the president can nominate to work with. Now, the so-called broad-based government is true. It is not constitution. There's no name, broad-based government.
Yeah.
So that is basically a political, a public political word that is being used. But there's nowhere that the constitution ties the president from nominating anyone from whichever, because after
Yeah. So long as they are competent, and they are
they are
qualified.
competent. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's number one. Number two, you have suggested that since Badi came into power, how are people from Nyanza benefited? I think also we need to start changing people's debate and narrative. When someone the idea or the suggestion that someone has been nominated or a cabinet secretary has been nominated from Nyanza doesn't mean that he's coming to work for people from Nyanza. He's coming to work for the government of Kenya. And government of Kenya, the government of the day, encompasses all the people who voted and didn't vote. So
you are right. Even
so
as you
Badi is not necessarily. It would be wrong, by the way. It's a wrong way to suggest that a cabinet secretary is actually working for people from a particular region.
that is how they present themselves.
Now that I want us to differentiate.
That is what Simbanata has just said.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Listen to me.
Mm.
There's a difference between using that as a political statement and a constitutional fact. Political statement is this: I am from Nyanza. I am from here. I've been elected. I've been given work. So you guys, this person is considering me. That's a political statement meant to solicit votes, okay, to change persuasion, to appease the voters.
Yes.
But the fact of the constitution is that constitutional office is serving everybody in Kenya. All right. So when you ask a question like Mbadi is the finance minister, how have you gained? That's a very unfair statement, because how am I supposed to gain if Mbadi is a finance minister? Mbadi is working for the government, and everybody in Kenya should be able to gain. Or if you are all losing, you're all losing. If Mbadi is because of actions or inactions on Mbadi. So I think we need to start changing people's narrative about Mutuwetu, because that's what you are bringing, Mutuwetu. Secondly, Simbaneta has said he's actually jumped into what you are saying. He has said that, and if you listen to what I said earlier, there's no particular region that has been written that region has to be in opposition. Yeah, we should start changing people's mind about the idea that ODM, if ODM is not in opposition, then there's no opposition. If we have how many people out there? We have DCP that is out there. We have that are not in this so-called broad-based government. We have. Are you suggesting that their efforts is not bearing fruit?
No.
Therefore, ODM
Just hold your thought. Hold your thought. Now, I need, even as you talk about ODM being in the opposition and the reason why they need to be in government at this particular time, you need also to answer me why political parties are formed, and should they just dissolve their party, or I mean, how does it work? If they really want to be in government, if the leaders want to be in government and the people don't want to be in government, how do they solve that matrix?
Political parties are formed to gain power.
Mm-hmm.
How they gain that power is not told how. Okay. Political parties are formed to gain power, and how you gain that power, it is not, there's no prescription that the only way you are supposed to gain power. The world over, if you even check comparative politics, in Germany, most parties have come in and then they form coalition government. It is not like it is unique to Kenya. This is something that happened in other democracies where a party they go into an election, and when they realize that probably we may not have the numbers, they now start. That happens also in Israel, you see. So it is not something that is unique. In South Africa the other time, ANC had to reach out to either, I think it was
The other party.
Yeah,
To
and
form.
they had to think if they were going to look at this other guy's party, either Zuma's or the other guy's party.
Yeah,
So
but it didn't.
yeah, they didn't have a deal. So you see, these deals about political parties are there across the world. It is not
But
unique
the
to Kenya.
uniqueness
Now,
about the NC deal is it happened after the election.
definitely, you can have a pre or post election coalition. In Germany, it happens post election. In South Africa, it did happen post, because if you can actually get the numbers, why do you need a coalition?
Yeah.
Now, this particular arrangement, for now, of course, the broad-based arrangement right now, you must understand the history around it, and it was informed the same way it informed the relationship between Uhuru and Raila in the prior to 2022. So we need to have those understandings in history. Now, should ODM proceed on with the conversation around whether to get into government? Any political party gets into power to gets formed to get into power. There's no political party that gets formed to go to opposition. In fact, you find yourself in opposition. It's just like there's nobody who goes to a competition to become number two. You all go to become number one. So the other numbers, you are placed there by circumstances. So no political party goes to any election to be an opposition party. It will be wrong for you to say that as we are only going to this particular election to be opposition. That is defeatist. So the first thing they need to know, we are going to get power. And I think they have said it clearly that I think there was some time that I think Oburu Odinga said that we are not going to opposition. We are going to either form the government by ourselves or get into a coalition with those people who are forming the government. Now, that conversation is where now we are having the drama that you're seeing right now, because now everybody is just looking for power. For us, we could be seeing it like people, there's someone who said the people want this, the other one says people want this. Everybody is using people. You know, if you listen to Sifuna, he's saying, what is the measurement of the people? The only measurement of the people and what people don't want is through an election. Has there been a universal suffrage? Have the NDC been called for them to say we don't want to be in this? The last time Baba joined and he went into that arrangement, Baba went round and people agreed that we want to be with these people. We want to be in this broad government before signing the 10-point agenda. So the only other time that can happen is probably in an NDC, when ODM will call an NDC, where they can do a ratification. Do you want to proceed on with this? Do we support Ruto or we don't support Ruto? In the meantime, they have democratic right to express their views on whichever side they want, which I think is okay in any political party. There shouldn't be, muzzling of voices. People should be able to speak. But now when they come into an NDC, and then they are able to say that, okay, fine, we have decided this is the way forward for the party, they will agree, but still there will be others who will be free to walk out. You say, I don't agree with what, like even here in the US, there are some, representatives who don't agree with certain positions. And they move in their own way. So I think that is okay. But fundamentally, Zalendo, any political party that is formed to get power. How you get it? You can get it by yourself. You can get it through coalition. Is there anything wrong with ODM negotiating with the UDA as they are working right now? There's nothing wrong with that, because right now, UDA is the party in power. So why would you want to negotiate with someone who is not in power right now? What is happening in the intervening period? There's intervening period between now and the next election. Do you want to continue being in opposition yet you have a working relationship with the government of the day? That will be defeatist even to the members that you think you want to help. Before you get to a point where you want to go alone or you want to go and vie, right now there's life. Your members need to benefit from this relationship. If I'm benefiting from this relationship, let me first benefit from this relationship. Hiyo ingine itajipanga ikifika hiyo time. So for me, for now, I think it is wise that the members work to ensure that this relationship that is working, the broad-based arrangement, works for the membership. Ikifika 2027, if they choose to go alone, or if they choose to negotiate with someone else, I think in any way they should negotiate to be in power, not out of power. You cannot negotiate yourself out of power. That's a dangerous move in politics.
Yeah, so you ultimately agree with Baba what he said, that in 2027 we will see whether we will continue with this relationship or whether we will work with the government. And again, why members Simbanataya? Why are you members of ODM putting the cart before the horse? Because the 10-point agenda has not been realized, and you already opening arms and saying, Ruto, hug me, baby, we are in government. And the 10-point agenda that Raila Odinga gave Ruto has not been implemented. Why are you all in a rush to join the government, Simba?
What are you using to measure even? Can you have facts in your hands? What are you saying?
No, we have not seen the 10-point agenda.
No,
That
no, give us your data. Where are you getting your data?
I'm getting my data from, of course, from the government.
No,
and from
you
the
give
public.
us your data. What has been implemented, what has not been implemented. You can't say it has not been implemented.
Okay. First of all, the most
give us your
important,
data.
the most important thing is the justice for the victims. Has that been implemented in your world?
The same you guys have gone to court.
No. Just answer that, because that was part of the agenda. Has it been implemented?
No, you have no. Let's leave the things that are in court, because you can't block something that you want it to be implemented. That's
all
like
right,
saying
you can't answer that. All
give
right,
us something else.
let's see Mbadataya. Go ahead.
Mzalendo, jambo la kwanza nataka nikuambie nyinyi huwa mnaeneza ufumi. Jambo la kwanza, IBC ambayo imerun by elections za juzi na sote sikawa very successful. It's a product of 10-point agenda. Hiyo hakuna mtu anakataa, hakuna mtu anapinga. Hiyo ni a product of the 10-point agenda, kwa sababu hatukuwa na IBC. Yenye mnasema haijakuwa implemented ni gani? Number 2, tukaja mambo ya waadhiriwa wa ghasia saa baada ya hiyo revolution ya Gen Z. Ni mahakama imesimamisha malipo, hata panel ilikuwa imekuwa constituted. So wakati mahakama imesimamisha hilo jopo kufanya kazi yake, ni nani amesimamisha? Wewe ndio umeuliza, ni mahakama. Mahakama ni iko
inafanya kazi yake.
Sasa argument yenu iko wapi?
When was the last time
Masuala mengine ni ya ambayo yanahitaji referendum, ambayo Musalia tayari ametoa opinion yake.
So Ebu, according to mnaongea vizuri sana,
hold on Mzalendo.
Yes.
Simbaneta amuulize pia, when was the last time alisikia abduction of anyone?
No, what we are saying is the following.
Ngoja, jibu tu.
NADCO report. Tulikuwa naongea juu ya
No,
NADCO report.
wait. When was the last time ulisikia abduction of anyone?
Abduction sijasikia lately because hakuja kuwa na riots na vitu
So
kama hiyo.
kwa 10 point agenda kulikuwa na
Na
stopping of abduction.
kwa 10 point agenda kukuwa na abduction.
Neta yasiwambie huyu.
Mimi naambia 10 point agenda ikuwa na abduction, ilikuwa wapi? Si uniambie ilikuwa wapi? Mnaanza kusema vitu zile hazikukuwa.
Kulikuwa na stopping of abduction. Ona mzalendo, acha tukwambie, kulikuwa na stopping of abduction. Hiyo ilikuwa hapo kwa 10 point agenda. After hiyo ku stop of abduction, ndio ukasikia hata after that Ruto alikuja mwenyewe akasema there will be no more abductions. Of course now that's a different debate. But for now hujaisikia any abduction. Now ukiona sasa mali akina Sifuna, that's sometimes I think Sifuna hana agenda. The only thing wanatafuta, nasema hii serikali ambayo inaua watu wao, sijui kikuja, he's quoting things of last year. There's nothing that he can pick of latest right now between the time walisign hiyo kitu mpaka saizi. So I think mzalendo, other than politics ambayo watu wako nayo, wale ambao wanataka kusema ati ODM should come out, should not support this government. A lot of politics. Other than that, hakuna facts. Ukiangalia kama saizi juzi wamelaunch Mukuru kwa Njenga, new Mukuru kwa Njenga. Do you think hao watu wote wamejoin hizo nyumba? Hao watu karibu, I don't know how many thousands. If you go to them, when they remember where they were and where they are right now, do you think you can sell to them the idea that Ruto should go home? Hata kama ni wewe.
I remember at one point Simba Nataya and yourself were so much against the housing, and right now you are these guys who are really
No, Mzalendo, I've been very consistent. No, Mzalendo, you are quoting me wrong. And then come here to
I remember up to there was a video even ya Mukuru kwa Njenga ikitolewa hapo.
No, you need to jog your memory. Sijawahi kuja hapa kupinga housing. Number 1, number 2, kwa sababu hiyo ilikuwa kwa agenda even ya Azimio. Ukiangalia Azimio ilikuwa na agenda ya housing. Now, housing for me, I think decent living is a good thing, is a primary.
Housing is a basic right.
So ukiona watu, Sifuna comes from Nairobi. And if you come from Nairobi, new Mukuru is in Nairobi. You think unaweza enda hapo kwa hao watu, because those are supposed to be your voters, and that's probably why Sifuna could not convince people in a particular place to vote for an MCA, because he was the one leading the charge in Nairobi.
Kariobangi.
He could not convince them, because now how do you finger the person who is trying to improve our lives, and then you are coming and telling us to support that, a certain person. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Ukiona mtu ambaye ameona living yake, kwa sababu it is more practical, ya kwamba I've moved from this place where I never used to access water, where I used to have this flying toilet. Alafu huyu mtu unataka kumwambia at this government that has given him this, you don't bring them back. I think these guys of opposition, or whoever, the disunited opposition, have a long way to go in terms of catching up with the campaigning for this. They have a long way to go, because these people are on a roll. Na nikikwambia, alafu jambo lingine umesema hapa ati sijui opposition na nini. Between now and 2024 is a long time in politics, mzalendo. Na hizi story unaambiwa ya kwamba ati 2027 tutamake decisions. Hata kama ni wewe, a government that is already share coverage imeshika watu wengi sana, inalipia watu wanyonge. Wachana na watu wadosi kama nyinyi ndio mnasema shaa haiwaki. Watu wanyonge kule chini shaa inawasaidia.
Mimi hapa niko hapa kuelimisha watu.
Watu wadosi shaa is not working. But mtu wa chini wa kawaida shaa is working for them, and those are the voters. So if you want to listen to the real person, don't listen to politicians coming up here and saying akiamka naongea juu ya Orengo, akiamka naongea juu ya Oburu, akiamka naongea juu ya Joho, akiamka. Go to the people who don't talk about people. They talk about how they are meeting their needs. Those are the people are going to tell you.
My question, Temba, to you. I mean, the housing project is really working well, but although it has got the middle class are not feeling it because one, the pay slip, the deductions are coming from the pay slips, and the salaries have not increased. That is another thing. Is Ruto winning in the middle class war? Is he really winning the people who are working because they are being deducted for houses they don't even know whether they will get them. Hao watu wamepata nyumba Mukuru, did they have to pay that deposit of 600,000 or what is really happening there? I saw another lady called Waidera. Waidera is a MCA for that area. She was coordinating that thing so well. Those are the kind of leaders that we want. That lady coordinated the housing na watu wa chini kabisa huko Mkuru walipata hizo nyumba. Now shida yangu tu Themba, maybe you can explain since you know more about this housing project, is that these people who are being deducted, these civil servants who are being deducted, is there a time frame where they will get the houses? Or is it a lottery? What is it? For how long are they going to be deducted?
Sasa unajua mimi hiyo ni swali mimi siwezi jibu. Okay? I'm not an expert in the.
Sasa hapo unaona hapo tu.
Hold on. Mimi sina uwezo wa kuelezea hivyo vitu vingine vingi. For me, I'm seeing results. And see results in politics matter more than the other nitty-gritties that people talk about. You know, those
yeah, you are seeing results because you're not being deducted.
For me, I'm seeing results. Wacha nimalize. Simuuliza swali, wacha nijibu. I'm seeing results. I'm seeing people moving, getting into decent homes, which is a good thing. I'm seeing, you see, like in a few years, just like we said, when Kibaki, by the time Kibaki was getting out of power, he wasn't the most popular president at that time. That's why even in 2026, the conviction that Raila won 2007, because by the time he came out, he was the most, right? But right now, many years later, people are praising.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you, Themba, now.
You see now, people are praising Kibaki. Why? Because of the infrastructure project that he started. In spite of the fact that the Thika superhighway only was benefiting one region of the country. And right now, when we are having this other region being opened up, everybody is rushing to court. All of a sudden, we have people like Ndindi Nyoro starting to give us maths. You know, yet he was the PSC chair when one of the projects that was built to have been a process of corruption, the SGR and stuff. He was the PSC chairman. He never gave us all these maths, you know.
Yeah, what I don't like about Ndindi Nyoro, when he was in power at that time of Uhuru Kenyatta, when they were really in power, he was one of the most tribal leaders that you could ever see meet. I mean, the way he was talking, the way he was presenting himself is a different Ndindi Nyoro. He has taken a flip. He has taken a 360. But one credit I would want to give Ndindi Nyoro is that he is working for his people. Kazi naye anapigia wananchi wake. You cannot compare it with some of the leaders we have on the other side.
Whatever it is, like they say, give the devil his due. I mean, whatever it is that he's doing well. But right now, we don't like the hypocrisy that he's bringing out. Because right now is when he's all of a sudden seen the mathematics that needs to be made about certain projects that are going to be happening, especially opening, the western area. You know that the roads are going to open western area to development. We need to start having conversations around when the Uhuru was starting a fish farm in Central. fish processing plant in Central. And the fish, Kiambu somewhere, I don't know where they started a fish processing, yet fish, and then, encouraging fish farmers to be trained on how to do fish farming in Central. Yet there's free fish farming in Nyanza with the Lake Victoria, and there's no processing plant that was set up there. That's killing one of the economic powerhouses in Nyanza and bringing it this side. So if you have fish, lots of fish was getting spoiled, and some of it was being sold throwaway price because they didn't have a way of preserving the fish. Cotton industries in the Nyanza area. When I was growing up, my grandpa was having those cotton farms, and we would go and pick some of the cotton. Right now, Tikomi is dead, Rivertex is dead. Some of those cotton, Nyanza area, Nyanza Western area, you had cotton, you had fish, you had the sugar cane, and then you had rice.
We also had the leather industry.
And the leather industry. So all these are dead. You have cotton dead. You never hear about any Rivertex, Rift Valley, whatever, all those.
Themba, umeongea vizuri sana, but hebu angalia. These leaders from Central and leaders from Western, they talk about their sugar belt, they talk about their mumias and all that. Tell me of any other day you've had a leader from Nyanza talking about fish farming in Lake Victoria. In all those parliaments that umekuwa ukiangalia, I have covered parliament for so many years, and Shama Kiawa here can attest to that. How many times have you ever had Nyanza leaders talking about that commodity called fish, even in parliament, and banging the tables for the president?
Right now, I don't understand why you should have a fish processing plant in Central, not in Nyanza.
Let me give you a story. Because
why?
Maybe let me give you just one story and then you continue. There was a farm that was run by, I think, Italians or some Italians. It was in Homa Bay. It was a fish plant. It was called Capital Fish. Capital Fish had employed over 4,000 people. So many people were benefiting from that, and the fish was being taken from the lake. The fish farmers would be given loans to go and get the fish, and they would be paid in. I think they were even being paid in advance to get those the fish to the factory. And this Mzungu, he was exporting the fish to Israel somehow. This factory is there, but it is dead. There is no leader who is even talking about the revival of such an industry. I go back to this guy that was chased the other day, the rice factory in Siaya, Dominion. Dominion built a school, they built a factory to process rice. What were the leaders doing? Every other weekend, they come with a lorry to pick all the rice and give it to their supporters. And I don't know even to sell it. So some of these things is just leadership. It is just the kind of leaders that we elect in these positions that cannot root for the people. The people of Central, when you look at their leaders, each and every time they are on the floor of the house, they are talking about kawa yetu, sijui kawa yetu, majani ya chai yetu. Kisi are talking about those things. And when the government is giving loans to farmers, unapata in the budget, there is a certain amount that has been allocated to tea farmers. A certain amount has been allocated to coffee farmers. When did you ever hear an amount allocated to fish farmers in Nyanza? It is just leadership. It is leadership. And we have devolution. Remember, we have devolution where billions are going back to the county. And one project, just one project, to say, in my 5 years, I want to revive this factory so that it can help the community. No leader is talking about that. So, endelea.
You're very right. You see, if we have good leadership, if you have people who are going to be people-centered, because right now, even the debates we are having right now, it's good we are having the debate around ODM remaining in opposition or not. But that is what they want us to talk about. That is what they want us to keep talking about. Right now, between now and 2027, we ought to be talking about the development that the people need. We would be
Thank you, Temba. Wamefanya kazi gani? Yes, we want to
we
get
would
to
be
the
impressed
government.
if right now we are doing checks on all those leaders. Any leader that is, standing to stand, and we are saying, first of all, give us the things you have done for your people, because all of them in 2027 will be doing a return. All of them, from Sifuna, from whoever, because they have a position.
Everybody, tupatie
Yeah,
returns. Give us
yeah.
your
But
report card. Yes,
give you a
unataka
report.
kuingia kwa Ruto.
What have you done,
Tupatie report card yako ndio tuingie kwa Ruto.
or you have spent 10 years or 4 years talking about Ruto and how Ruto should be 1 term or 2 term. You have forgotten to talk about what you're supposed to be delivering for the people.
For the people.
I get a little bit annoyed when you see someone who is a governor like Natembea going around Tembearing, only talking about how you should be talking about Tawe instead of being busy delivering for the people of Trans Nzoia.
Aya, nyamaza tu hapo. Ebu look at the governors in Central. What are they doing? Look at this minji lady, sijui kina nani. What are how jamaa wamenyamaza? Look at the governors in hapa Wakamba hapa tu. We have a problem. We have a big problem. We have a big problem.
Because
these leaders, they don't work for the people.
Because Mzalendo, as you're saying, you see, does it benefit us if ODM remains in opposition or goes to Ruto? It doesn't benefit us. What benefits?
Whether it is
whether they remain in opposition or they go to government. At the end of the day, if your governor has not worked, whether ODM goes to parliament, to government, or remains in opposition, the governor has not worked. Your MP has not worked. That will not change that, you know.
Now this is what they are doing. They are mobilizing the community to agree in their position. Yes, we have not worked, but this is the best place that we can be, so that we can bring for you development, being in government. Don't mind about the CDF that we receive. Don't mind about the billions that we receive in the county government. The best place that we can be is being inside the government. Hizi zingine will sort it out somehow.
Which is good enough. Which a good, assuming that argument is true.
It is true. That is what they want.
If that argument is true, therefore, Mzalendo, then the government of the day is this one right now. So what makes us not demand from this government what belongs to us right now?
Of course, that is why when you see Ruto going to a place, leaders are standing up and saying, we need a Gor Mahia ring road, we need this, we need this. They're demanding.
Now, that is fair enough. So therefore, there's nothing wrong at this point in time for the people who are in any area, because they are paying taxes even between now and 2027. And their tax should be the voice that you're using to demand what should be working for you. So instead of coming in and telling me that how Ruto should not be two-term, you should be telling me what are the other areas that this government should be delivering after they deliver for this. Fine, you have a position. In your position, what are the things that you have been able to do? You know, we need to start having a debate around, instead of waiting for them to tell us how, Sifuna takes I really don't like his way of rhetoric lately, because he is more of telling people more about someone how he should be 1 term or 2 term, but less of telling people of the areas of development that they need to be focusing on, which I think is not right. So you should be asking me, where as a leader, you as a leader, what are some of your roles as a leader? What are the things? Where was Sifuna when new Mukuru houses were being launched? Those are his voters. And if he hopes to come in next time when those people were there and they're launching, he should have been there, because he cares about the welfare of these people. So if you're out of touch with your people, then you are likely to be like Orengo, who goes to another place and only tells people, Orengo is busy saying about Luos and how they should mind about not following a particular thing blindly. He's talking less of his deliverables to the Siaya people. We should be having a county state of the country address every Tuesday.
Every year, state of the country, exactly the way the president. Yeah, let us have an address and tell us, yes, this quarter, this is what we are doing.
This is what we did. If
yeah, this is the money that we received. You know, these guys. Let me tell you, when devolution started, I was following the county governments very, very keenly. I had got interest then. Awiti was one of the most useless governors. But you know what he used to do? Despite being useless, he used to post the money that he has allocated to each and every project. Kama ni hiyo stadium, you would see hiyo stadium alianzisha pesa yake ndio hii ameweka hapo. Anybody could access that from any part of the world. But now you know what they have done? Now they don't post the allocations, the money that they have allocated in those projects, because they fear the public audit. Now, Ochila Yaka was going to court to stop Madi from, I don't know, is it procurement? There is a system that Madi is bringing in where all the county governments will have a portal where all the suppliers and everybody else, or all the procurement procedures, will be monitored online. If it is Temba who has gotten a government project in the county of Migori, we can see his company got so much, blah blah got so much. Do you know the first people to take Mbadi to court is the governor for Migori? The governors have taken him to court that they don't want that kind of transparency. Can you imagine? They have said they don't want it.
And you see now, those are the problems that we are facing. Those are now some of the things that even those people, they say, if you come to the table of equity, you must come with clean hands. If you're going to be coming in, you want some transparency, you don't want to come back, but you're not open yourself. If we could have counties, like we have state of the county address every 4 months or every 6 months, tell us the projects that you had seen that you had purpose to do. Tell us what is happening, what is their state where they are, and when should we expect these things to happen. You know, these county governors, if they are kept busy giving accountability, instead of going to do some distribution, they take a photo here and there, we will have a lot more working counties. They will have less time of politicking. They will have less time attending rallies to demand for Ruto to go for 1 term or 2 term. They will be busy thinking about, how do I make my county? We would even have counties competing in terms of how much development has a county done. You know, like movement from one county to another. What are the things that your county are known for? What are they exchanging with another county? We have these economic blocks that have been started. How are those economic blocks benefiting their individual members? What are the things that have come out of those economic blocks? What is the state of the county address? We need to hear that, because now when you have government that has been brought closer to you, there should be less and less reliance on the national government, because you have more of things that are working with the government that is closer to you, that is the county government. But now, if you keep us more preoccupied with the national government, you want less and less checks and balance on you. And that is what they want. And that's where the debate they want. You want us to talk about ODM and whether ODM, you know, right now we are discussing ODM internal affairs. It is ODM internal affairs in terms of Sifuna and team wanting to have 1 term, and of course this other side wanting 2 term. And so the internal it is a brotherly fight within ODM being made a national issue. So we have forgotten to discuss issues to do with what are the economic activities that benefit the people of Nyanza that are not working right now. What are the things that should be done right now? What is it that should be beneficial to the people? What is it that is, we should be having that conversation moving on to 2027. So for me, Zalendo as a land, if every political party, the primary objective of forming a political party is to win power. That's the if a political party doesn't win power, then it is losing its relevance in the political space. Now, how it gets there, it can either get power by itself or by negotiating with similar. Now, it can also get into power post-election, which for me, I would go for a post-election arrangement than a pre-election arrangement. A post-election arrangement will give Ruto the power to realize who can I work with. And in a post-election arrangement, it's possible to work with anybody. And it is possible even in a post-election arrangement, Ruto, if he finds that DCP has won some majority more than ODM, he could have an arrangement, even with, because the idea is to make sure that he governs. And if you get a party that has at least a sizable majority in parliament to complement yours, that is the party that you'll go with, you know. So a post-election, arrangement normally works best for the people, you know, and also it works best for the party in power because it is left with the leg room to negotiate with anyone. A pre-election arrangement is good, but you see now it's ties even to someone who did not have anything. Like for example, Akina Weta, most of the things they worked on, it was a pre-election that he was to be a speaker. So even if he had only 2 MPs or something, he was still to be a speaker. That was a pre-election arrangement. Someone like Pa, who did not bring, I don't know if there's any MP of Pa in parliament.
Wacha kunichekesha bwana. Sasa Wetangula anatafuta tochi. Sijui ni wanang'ang'ania tochi ya Jirongo. Nani ataweka?
But you see, there was a pre-election agreement that someone like Pa leader is being given what? A Speaker of the Senate. He still got it because of a pre-election arrangement.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone like this guy from Mutua, you know, I don't know if there's any MP from
He doesn't have any. He doesn't have any. I don't
but you
think
see,
but
pre-election,
they agreed.
yeah. But post-election gives you a better bargaining power because now you look at people with the numbers, and now that one helps you to agree whom do I work with based on someone who has brought in the numbers. So for me, I like what is going on because it's we are talking about ODM. ODM is being on the limelight, and probably it is likely to be for a time because I think the other opposition, you remember what has happened is Gachagua has successfully been returned to defending himself. You know, when you are in politics and then you have to be always defending yourself, there's a problem. So he's been moved into explaining, this is not what I say, this is what I was trying to say. Now that is very dangerous in politics. Kalonzo also has been hit with the road thing, so he's still trying to recover from that road thing. Matiang'i, as has been said in some areas, seems to be not very serious in this united opposition. He seems to be wobbling.
Yeah,
So
he's wobbling.
yeah, he's wobbling in that united opposition. So there's a lot of uniting to be done in the united opposition. So before that takes place, I think there's a lot that is likely to happen. You're likely to talk about ODM a lot. But ODM should move towards power, should gravitate towards power. As it is, they cannot, they do not have anyone that they can front for presidency. So I think that hii itakuwa ndoto for anyone. So my verdict is they should support Ruto for 2027.
You're laughing at Mato's comment. Look at what Mato has written here.
Azari hapo.
Ameandika ati mtu anapewa kifunguo inatoshana na yeye. How much was used to print those big plastic keys? You guys don't get this Ruto government nonsense. Ruto knows Kenyans and Africans have woken up. Mato bwana, watu Temba atakwambia watu waliingia kwa hizo nyumba bwana. You if you didn't see people getting in. I mean, I saw people playing football. Hata vijana wakicheza mpira hapo kwa hizo nyumba.
Mato is elitist. Unajua shida ya elite. Shida ya watu ambao ni elites, they don't understand some things. They keep on saying, oh, Ruto government, Ruto government. They are not going to local mwananchi.
No, I always say that Waswahili wanasema mganga mpe haki yake na nini what?
No, mganga muwe na haki mpe.
Muwe bwana. Kiswahili itakuwa bwana.
Sasa bwana Ruto, kuna hizo mambo ya manyumba, it's a big thing Mato, it's a big thing. Kama ulikuwa unatoka kwa slums na unapatiwa nyumba iko na shower na iko na choo ndani, unaweza flush for the first time. Hey, that is a big plus. Huyo mtu hawezi mtoa kwa Ruto, hata mlete propaganda gani. But you see now, the thing is just the way Themba has said, the opposition are not having a clear message that can entice the people of Kenya. They don't have a very clear message that they can woo the people of Kenya to their direction. That is the problem. So Ruto is winning on the messaging part. Yes, right now amekuja na Singapore. Yeah, Singapore. The other time alikuja na bottom up. We all said, hey, bottom up sijui nini. But bottom up
Mzalendo. Hiyo kitu ya Singapore, unajua these people do not understand. You know, hiyo kitu ya Singapore was a bait. And the problem is these guys, this united opposition, they are falling into any bait. You know, when you are used to fighting everything, you are given something they know you're going to fight. If you are mzalendo, ulipokuwa unataka tuseme unataka degree yako, you imagined that degree before you went to school to get it. Because you had it in your mind and you said that nataka hii degree, you don't wake up and have the degree. You have certain readings you have to do. You have assignments you have to give out. You have the whatever you have to do. So, anaposema we want to be Kenya to be like Singapore. These opposition guys do not have good advisors. We should be telling them, you don't fight everything. Being like Singapore is a good thing. Now, you don't say that hatutaki Kenya, say hiyo ni kitu gani umekuja nayo. You see, you are telling Kenyans not to imagine. How many of us have been to heaven? We are told heaven has streets of gold. And you know, some of those pastors have not been to that heaven.
I like it. Yesterday, I think on Brother Benny show, I told somebody I was born and I found my parents in a certain church and were being promised heaven. And I also learned that my grandfather was also promised the same heaven. I got promised the heaven, and my kids are also being promised that heaven. And we've never stopped going to church because there's other people have not seen that heaven. So as a leader, first of all, you need to have a vision and a dream. So I heard a certain leader saying that, you know, Kenya cannot be like Singapore, and you want people to elect you. It means you don't believe in anything, you don't have any vision, you don't have any dream. Then where do you want to lead us? So in that Singapore term, Ruto has really beaten his opponents who have foolishly tried to oppose it, and people are now going to see sense in it. I think, like right now, he's setting the agenda for Kalonzo. I'm glad Mato has joined. He's telling you that, you know, Kalonzo have done nothing for 50 years. Then Kalonzo comes out instead of even ignoring that, you know, I've only been in government for 40 years, confirming that these 40 years I've done nothing. So Kenyans will go, kumbe huyu jamaa anasema ukweli.
No, Kalonzo did a presser to answer William Ruto on that. Now, wacha ni introduce Mato, Mkenya Mkora. Hey, Mkenya Mkora. Hizi majina mnazitoa wapi bwana? Mkenya Sasa ukishajiita Mkenya Mkora, basi kuja utupatie sasa ukweli wa maneno. Mato, karibu. Happy New Merry Christmas.
Sasa hata majina mengine unajiita inaonyesha tu kweli, hata unajua jina tu kishajiita inaonyesha tu mahali. Hakuna
jiita Mkenya Mkora. Sasa Mkenya Mkora anataka kutupatia mawaidha.
Sasa nani atakusikiza wewe mwenyewe ni mkora?
Me, mostly, first of all, nimekam kwanza kuambia Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And then kuna topic nasikia, it's been a long time since we've been actually in a, in a show together. I mean, we come from far. So thank you so much. Themba, it's good to see you, Mzalendo, kila mtu yani. It's just nice. But lakini kuna topic twingine hapa hivi mnaongelelea na shindwa. Wacha kwanza nianzie huko hivyo kwa kifunguo. Kifunguo ya hii kifunguo yenye nimetoka kuweka hapo hivyo ukaweka Mzalendo. You see, the nonsensical thing about these things that are happening. First of all, there's a question that I'd asked a long time ago. Who's the landlord? Okay. Number two, how much nimeuliza tu hapo hivyo, how much did we print hizo funguo nazo, because we know that's hiyo si kifunguo kwenda kwenda kufungua hiyo mlango. Again, on the other side, also think about it. Look at the humanity, wale watu walikuwa hapo hivyo, hiyo kerende yote ni wenye walikuwa wamebeba funguo. Kwani mnaishingi mnakuja kuishi watu wangapi kwa nyumba moja? I mean, the whole thing was just staged, managed, just to show something. Okay? Now, eto wachana na story ya nyumba. Because I know them atatuambia hapo hivyo hiyo ndio kazi Ruto amefanya, amejenga manyumba. We don't know that, hatujui watu wote waliingia kwa hiyo place wenye walikuwa wamebeba funguo zote, kama walikuwa wanaenda kuishi watatu ama ni nini. Na kama ni ukweli, si wangepewa ufunguo tu, mtu aende afungue nyumba yake badala ya kupewa funguo zingine zimeprintiwa.
Naonanga watu wakipewa check maybe in a bank, they normally have a dummy check, so let us also be factual. Kuna kwa na dummy check kale kakubwa
I get what you're saying. Those are called no, you can yeah, but you can cash that big check like that. But just look at the number of hizo funguo zenye zilikuwa zimepeanwa and how many apartments are in that house.
Mato, acha nikuulize.
Uliza baba.
Did you see apartments?
Yeah, those actually no. You know what?
Roger, yes or no?
No. Thank you for bringing that asking.
No, Roger, it's a yes or no. Did you see?
Do you know those apartments were launched by Uhuru in his term?
No, forget about that. I'm just asking, did you see the apartments, yes or no?
But they were launched by Uhuru.
It doesn't matter who launched them. Did you see the apartments, yes or no?
They've been there. Ni kama Bagadi.
Mato, you're not answering the question. Mzalendo mgoja kwanza hiyo ndio. Wacha tusikize kwanza Mato hapa tusikie anasemaje. Mato, uliona apartments zikikuwa launched?
Launching is not like can launch a river. Thompson Falls was launched by who? Thompson. Did he discover them?
Okay, you're running away from the.
No. Themba, let me help you with Mato. Mato, I've told you launching a problem is again fumbling and telling you they were launched by Uhuru. I just want to play for him a video. Then I'll get maybe his view on the same. I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
Here, you have
Yes.
the video?
I'll play one. I don't know if it will be able to play. I'm sorry. It's for my page.
Okay.
Of relief and new beginnings for residents of Mukuru. This after President William Ruto officially handed over keys to beneficiaries of Phase 2 of the Mukuru Affordable Housing Project, part of a wider development where more than 44,000 housing units have now been launched. The handover marks a turning point for families who've lived in informal settlements for decades and renewed hope for those still waiting. Is NTV's Susan Waweru with the details.
For years, the lives of Mukuru residents have been defined by improvised tiny iron sheet houses squeezed together, open sewage, and the constant fear that everything could be lost overnight to fire, floods, or eviction. But now, for a good number of them, all this is bygones.
From a tin house where at the end of the day you don't sit in the house because it is too hot during the day, it is too cold in the night, to a place where I can light a stove and just do my cooking and everything is okay. With that amount of money, I am a very happy man today.
This after President William Ruto officially handed over 4,000 affordable houses. This being the second phase after handing over 1,000 houses in May this year.
Wale wananchi wamekuja hapa. Welcome to dignity. Welcome to a new life.
For parents, the change is immediate. Clean water, private bathrooms, and a sense of safety that was never guaranteed in the slums.
Moto uliwaka mahali nilikuwa naishi. Hakuna mahali zimamoto inaweza ingililia izime hiyo moto. So zile nyumba zilikuwa pale zote zilichomeka. Hapa niko na kitanda yangu, msichana wangu analala juu, mimi nalala chini, na hiyo maisha pale sikuwa nayo.
When I come here and I have all these pavements, I have everything set in a very good environment. I want my kids to be here.
After years of uncertainty, permanence now replaces survival. No sudden evictions and no smoke-filled rooms.
Shida kubwa iko pale kwa sababu landlord tarehe yake ikifika kulipa nyumba, ashafika kwa mlango akubishie. Hii nyumba lipa 100, lipa 200, lipa 500 umalize. Hakuna mtu atakuja kusimamia kwa mlango.
The government says the houses are allocated through affordable housing program, targeting low-income earners who earn less than 20,000 shillings, with more units expected as demand continues to rise.
Those people are given the first right to come in and to move out. They're facilitated for a period as the construction comes up, and then they're given the first right to come and occupy these units once they're ready.
The government says the Mukuru project signals a shift in how informal settlements are being reimagined, not as temporary spaces, but as part of long-term urban planning.
Hapa tutarudi tena mpaka tufikishe haya manyumba yote 14,000 tutawapatia ndugu zetu wa Kenya waweze kuishi.
Na mkileta watoto wenu primary.
Haya.
I also have to agree that I'm one of the people who are opposed to this affordable housing. I did not believe it would be a life-changing. And recently, apart from this video, I was looking at some small kids playing football along these new houses, and I was like, what do you think the parents of these kids are going to do when it comes to 2027 elections? I was in wale wazazi wametoka, those people who stayed in slums. You know, me, I went to high school in Madare, and I would cross over from Gomongo, that is those sides of Babadogo, walk to Riverside, cross that Karibangi Road, then go to Madare North Area 1, just for high school, daily. And we could hardly get a place to play. Kama ni kucheza ungeenda pale Korokocho, which Korokocho pia, you will not go with a phone or a watch or maybe anything on your neck. It will be gone. So it was really stressed. So I saw them playing comfortable, and I said, like, these people, the two-term for William Ruto is not going to be about what people are going to tell them. It is written in their hearts. They'll definitely communicate, and we have to agree. Those people, their lives have changed. Na pia kuna wale wamefanya kwa hizi mijengo. We've seen them. And if you may have met some of them physically, even the ones in Homa Bay, there's nothing you can tell these guys that, you know, mambo affordable housing, Kenyans are being overtaxed and what. With them, what they know, affordable housing, ilifanya mimi nilikuwa natengenezanga dirisha nauzia watu 2,000, and within 4 years, hakuna mtu amejenga kwa hii kijiji yetu Homa Bay. Now with the affordable housing, I was able to make windows na doors, nikapata cheki 500 once, kitu sijawahi guza. Those are some of the facts that you also have to consider when you are trying to fight William Ruto.
Mato,
Yeah.
alafu Mato, najua argument yako, you are not the first one. Yesu vile alikuja hapa akaenda akaingia kwa nyumba ya prostitutes. Was it not? There's a prostitute who came and washed his feet na nini na some mafuta. Of course kuna watu kama kina Matori aliingiaje hapo? Huyo mtu alikubaliaje huyo mtu amwoshe miguu na hiyo mafuta? Hiyo mafuta ni Yesu. So there are people who will have academic arguments around things that are touching people. And even this guy anaitwa nani? Zacchaeus akashuka. He was a master tax collector. Then he comes down. Jesus tells him, "You come down today. I'm going to be your visitor." The Sanhedrins, the people who thought that they knew everything, could have been like, "This guy man has been robbing us all this time. How can Jesus go to his house?" And then the final example I want to give you is the Samaritan woman who went to. It wasn't not the Samaritan woman. The person who was caught in the act. The lady was caught in the act and was taken to Jesus. And then Jesus said, "Even me, I forgive you." You know, people must have wondered. So elitist arguments are always there in these things that they have been documented in the Bible. We expect that right now, yes. So see, Mato's argument is, oh, the key was fake. Oh, this one was not the Uru. Right now, do you think that's the narrative? Now, those are the evidences that this disunited opposition is receiving from people, that you go and attack the key. You go and attack the launching. You go and say that it's Uhuru who launched this or something here.
You go and attack the amount, the source of funds, and such kind of story.
So you know, it's so displaced attacks that will not carry anything. Look at the stories that are being told there. Those are the stories that will win the narrative. If your united opposition are serious about winning this, they must be sitting somewhere to come up with alternative facts and alternative agenda. But if it's going to be what Mato is saying here, you are fighting all the key, yes, G was B, what, my friend, there's a lot of catching up to do.
I think Temba, you and Mato must agree that there's one mistake that we did when we were campaigning for Azimio that I normally sometimes sit down back and regret. You know, we kept on fighting the term hustler and bottom up. Little did we know that the more we kept on fighting this hustler, then we were making the hustler narrative or the hustler thing to sink deep inside people's heart who did not even understand the meaning of hustler. And these guys, whenever we kept on fighting hustler ni hawawezi, these people will go to people and tell them, you see, watu wanawadharau, wanawaita wezi, hustler tu ni maskini, you see. So that is what is happening with this kind of people right now. So hustler narrative, that is Ruto set for us an agenda, and we followed that agenda. In all our meetings, we were fighting his ideologies, your hustler, your wheelbarrow. Little did we know, we were supposed to concentrate on setting an agenda that could sink in people's heart. That is what is happening right now. Ruto is helping these people to set an agenda. He comes up with the Singapore thing. Then he knew very well these people are going to take it negatively and start fighting Singapore. Then he's coming and telling you, look, sisi tunataka maisha mazuri ya Singapore, lakini hao watu bado wanataka tu nyinyi Kenya ibaki tu kama slum. Mimi mtakubali kitu kama hiyo? So we are working with a cunning man, and now Mato, you also need to know now that in the absence of right, you're able to sustain opposition.
Leo, allow me Mato to respond. Allow Mato to respond, tafadhali.
I've been mentioned a lot, and I know because I'm coming controversially. And there's, you know, Leo right now, the reason he's smiling like that is not because it's Christmas or New Year's. It's just because he thinks that you know, he's proving a point of what he used to say. You know, me and Leo, we've had this conversation to pigana huko tukaangushana and everything. Sitaguza themba. Now, that video that he just played, actually imemwaribia, because how many people fit in one apartment? And did you see how many people are standing on that on those balcony? how many people fit in an apartment? I believe it's your wife, you, and your kids. But did you see how the apartments wameja huko hivyo? So basically, what I was trying to say, it's a PR move for him.
Wacha bwana. You are even saying how elitist you are. Have you been to slums and you see how many people stay in one room?
Play it. It's there. Tell me how many people fit in your apartment.
Hold on. Mato, you are being elitist. Do you know how many people stay in slums, even in one room?
Just play that video.
No, hold on. Do you know?
You don't need to play the video for Mato. There's one thing that you need to tell Mato when we are launching. Number one, that was not the only apartment. They chose one to launch. There are several apartments. The apartments in Homa Bay and all over. There are some that are complete and there are some that are not yet complete. So the one that was launched, the president will not launch all the apartments at the same time. So they had to choose one. And those people you are seeing, there were also allocated houses in various parts of the
Ruto knows how to play with your minds.
There's somebody who comes to play the launch a house. Have you had anybody complain?
People are very eloquent and people who are smart-minded, to see them just being played in a bullshit. Sorry. Forgive me for my language. Watu wanachezwa tu na mnaona mkichezwa na mnachezeka tu. Now already, and that's why I come to Themba. Themba saw this coming a long time ago when we were really debating about, Kitambo. Themba said Ruto is very smart and he knows how to change people and how to make people think the way he wants to think, and he wants you to think. And this is exactly what Themba said. One day we were having a conversation. He said, Ruto atageuza watu. And the weirdest thing is that I'm seeing people who actually could see things starting to switch. It's so unfortunate that you're starting to see people. But for me, I'm not switching because I know this guy is not going anywhere and this guy is just messing with Kenyans minds. And unfortunately, my fellow panelists, is that the run to 2027 has already started. This guy, just venye alikuwa anaitwa tangatanga na Uhuru, right now is all PR. He's gonna do everything ile tangatanga alifanyia Uhuru for like 5 years. Now he's on esteem yake sasa ndo imefika, so that he doesn't lose that 2027 seat. Unfortunately for him is that some people have woken up and some people are looking at him. I don't care. No, and just just you remember some of the biggest people who were bloggers, when waliambiwa that they need, watapewa pesa ya kama you're supporting pro-government and something like that. Sisemi hapa tuko hivyo, but I remember mtu kama Mwaf was the first person kuleta Itumbi mwenyewe. And he knew, because people are getting paid to do that, so that the narrative changes, that it's not against bad governance, but against one-term, two-term nonsense. The thing is that we're still against bad governance. Watu wenye saizi kama kina nani hapa hivi, my brother hapa hivi Leo, wanasema ati sijui wanaona kabisa watu wamesimama kwa nini, wako wengi sana wawezi ingia kwa nini moja, but that's what people are trying to propagate, to do that. But again, now that is going to be the story. But then again, what exactly has that man done to our country
Mato, I
since?
think your question is really correct, and I understand it. Christmas over there, and the big question you are asking, I know. By that time we were campaigning, we were in the same. The only person who was against us was Mzalendo, and as a matter of fact, and I've never failed to tell Mzalendo that Mzalendo did not stop fighting or did not stop loving or supporting Ruto based on ideologies. Mzalendo stopped supporting Ruto because Raila joined Ruto. That is a fact that will never change. And because if you look at the plan that Ruto had, the plan that he was supporting is what is being implemented right now. And the only thing that made Mzalendo to turn against Ruto is because Raila joined Ruto. We had people talking of the Mount Kenya rebellion. Mount Kenya did not hate Ruto. Up to now, they don't hate Ruto. What made Mount Kenya to rebel against Ruto was his association with Raila. And I'm pretty sure that now that Raila is no more, that rebellion, if you even look at the current happenings, they've now started coming back pretending that we are having a Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West, pretending that it is only Mount Kenya East that are now supporting Ruto, but the Mount Kenya West are rebelling against Ruto. So that's not a statement of fact. And when I weigh some of these things, it keeps reminding me that in 2027, Ruto is still going to get almost or more than half of the Mount Kenya in the absence of Raila. If you wanted Ruto to lose Mount Kenya, Raila would have been there. So the only thing that separated these two people was Raila's joining William Ruto. Somebody has asked, what has Ruto done? Yes, we look at the country, we can say that the driver is heading on the right direction. He might not be on the right speed, he might not have engaged the right gear, but the direction is correctly. Because one thing I have to give to Ruto is that he did not abandon some of the projects or some of the plans that Uhuru or the predecessor had. He actively continued with them. And the only thing that he's done differently is that he's opened these kind of projects across the country. So if you go to each and every region, at least there is something that is happening, something that was not happening before. If you just imagine that for the first time, if Mzalendo will be going home, he will have to hire maybe a Mercedes, because the old car that he left at home, I think, is grounded now. A Mercedes there at Kisumu, and will drive safely to Homa Bay without those bumps. Though when he now wants to take the kids for Christmas, some of us used to go to Kisumu and maybe the lake.
Just from Kenya, all those roads zimejaa kina Uhuru, zimejaa portal. Quit lying to people.
Listen, you don't come to my place. Listen, I want to tell you, for the first time in history, we've not seen people from Kano, Kabonyo, Kanyagwal coming and saying Serikali's idea. Do you know what happened there? I think you're not aware. For the first time in history, I'm seeing an 80-year-old
I drove Kenya. Ile mabonde iko huko hivyo bwana. Is not even the way after
president.
All right. Okay, guys. Let Leo and Kenya Mkora, let us have some order. And
just a minute.
there are so many people. Listen, Leo. There's
only
so
1
many
minute.
Just a minute. There's so many people who are watching this show, and you people are respected. People look. You can see from the comment that people like the kind of civic education that you're giving here. But you have to be factual, and you also have to give somebody an opportunity to rebuttal, so that we can have a decent conversation. I agree with what you are saying, that Ruto in fact has done blah blah, and his intention to build that highway from Maimayu to all the way to Kisumu, that will be a plus. That will be a plus. So Mato Mukora, we also want to hear. Kenya Mkora, we also want to hear your other side of view. Why you don't like development coming in that direction?
Mzalenda, I was winding up. If you only give me only 1 minute, then Mato and Themba also want your views. I also want your views and Themba's views on this. There's something that has also, I know Mato is won't support Ruto because Kalonzo is not supporting Ruto, and I'm sorry to say that. And there's one thing, I like Kalonzo, and in 2032, if Kalonzo presents himself as a presidential candidate, I'll vote for him because I know in 2027 he wants to manage. In the absence of William Ruto, I'll vote for Kalonzo. That's a statement of fact. So there's something that has also come clear, Atemba, and Mzalendo will agree with me. And we need to have a discussion of this. Have we been fooled for the last 50 years concerning the numbers of the Central, the Mountain, the Morema? I checked, and when thanks to Dr. Raymond Omolo, look at the current ID registration. I was so moved to see a man who is 70 years old have lived in Migori, not one, not two, in hundreds, and they've never had an ID. Has the government been deliberately suppressing our numbers and increasing or inflating the numbers? And these numbers that the Mountain have been priding of, at least they've now been left naked, because we are coming to realize it has always been fallacy. Because if you look at the statistics, the enrollments in schools and the registration of births, which will be a reflection of the adults in that area, it tells you that they are at the bottom as far as numbers are concerned. But when it comes to voting, they are at the top. So these are fallacy that has been exposed by William Ruto's government. And come 2027, you are going to realize that we've always been suppressed by about 2 million votes. Right now, there is a projection that we are going to register 1.5 million votes in Nyanza. Not that these are the Gen Z votes. Those people, the millennials who've been applying for IDs, I have a cousin who've undergone through the same. You apply for ID, after 3 months, your ID is not out, and you keep on chasing, and such kind of thing. So the numbers that you've been told, if you can't go to Northeastern, the Somalis, the Orias, one man has got 4 wives, and at least each wife is having 12 kids, then you're telling me that somebody in a place whereby we've been seeing women demonstrating that the men are not impregnating them, are now having numbers compared to the people who we know naturally don't use family planning. So we also need to have a debate on that. Have we been fooled for all these years?
Let me come in, Mzalendo, because my time here is, I just want to step out in the next 10 minutes. I like Leo's last question. I think that's I need to I like debating when I've gotten the facts in my fingers. I'll go read that probably in our next debate. I'll come lend my views to that, because that is a very interesting view. However, I want to chime in on what Mato is bringing out. Mato is probably falling into another dangerous path. That is a path that is full of emotion. In politics, try to separate emotions with the politics, because politics of emotions can be very dangerous. I remember even in 2022, when we really supported Azimio factually, but the last day when we had the last debate just before election, we asked a question here, and some of the people who were in Azimio got mad with us. I remember Kina Stone, PK, and we said, I just asked personally, I've gone through that question, what if Ruto wins? They didn't want to hear any of that. After we had already done all the debate and now we are closing the show, I said, what if Ruto wins? Because that's the nature of politics. The nature of politics is such that anything can be. There are things that you know, and there are things that you do not know. We only come and debate the things that we know, but in politics, there are things that we don't know. So that is one. Secondly, Mato, it's fair for you to, Ruto is likely to win, not because he's doing very great things, but because the alternative is not doing any better. There's no alternative argument that is beating even the worst argument that is there. If for example the worst argument is launching the houses, then bring a better argument that people can look at. What is it that is comparing to that argument of launching the houses that the opposition has brought about? Okay, the worst argument is let's say Singapore. What has the opposition done that is the alternative that can replace that particular argument? So it is not that Ruto is giving worst. What is the alternative? People will not vote people do not go to vote against a government. They go and vote for a particular argument that wins against what the government is. So you cannot just say Ruto is assuming you are right that Ruto is hoodwinking people, but he's hoodwinking the voters themselves. Someone who is going to talk about him having not to chase bathrooms, accessing water, not having to worry about safety. What will you tell such a person? You cannot tell such a person that this president is bad. So, Mato, your argument is very plausible, but to elitists, people who can access media like us, who can be able to talk. Now, that argument will hold the water. I mean, you are going to sell that, but that is not what brings in the vote. It's time that the united opposition, if they are thinking of ever getting Ruto out of power, to go back to the drawing board and seize one term is not an agenda. Saying that Singapore is bad is not an agenda. Saying that all these houses are being launched, politics is about perception. And if people perceive that you're working for them, even if you're not working, they perceive that way, they're going to vote for you. So I want to ask Mato, separate your emotions. Unlike Leo, I think I don't really like Kalonzo because I don't think he's serious. I don't think he's a serious candidate because of even the responses. Leo, the other day, you coming to say that Ruto got it was not 50, it is 40. I mean, what's the difference between 40 and 50? The question then you are saying, you go ahead and say.
He's not serious. Kalonzo wants to become the president, and he wants to be supported by somebody called Gachagua. And the person who moved the motion to impeach Gachagua comes from his backyard, and he's never even taken a single day to condemn that person. And he thinks that Gachagua is going to happily hand over the presidency to him. Not serious at all. If that happens in Kisumu, Mwenge Mutisi will not even be stepping in Ukambani to show that at least the person who needs your support is serious in protecting you.
Leo, you say you like Kalonzo. I don't like Kalonzo. Kalonzo doesn't look like a serious candidate. He doesn't want to be a president. Because how do you start walking around with Gachagua? Someone who will speak this way and then speak another way. It doesn't look like someone who is serious.
Can I jump in before them, but leaves?
Yeah. Actually, I'm leaving in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. You are on something, yeah? First of all, me, please, Themba and Nalio, mwachange kuni associate na Kalonzo. I am not in that area. I'm not in the area of Kalonzo, okay? I'm in the area of good governance. Now, there's something that I want to answer both of you. Number one, let me start with Themba. Themba, it's true that what you're saying is true, but you're lacking something. You're talking about numbers, and I think this goes to both of you. Numbers and the political, what did you call it? Just perception, the perception of the perception. But then you're forgetting something. People are done with having a perception. People do not want to see this perception because it's been so outrightly put out there that you're going to vote according to perception. People do not want to, this perception thing, and what politicians and that's why we're seeing even the politicians that have been there, the career politicians, they've worked on that perception. This includes to where you're finding goons or someone that can go and mobilize people to come and boo someone, someone in a church, just to create a perception. We're done with that kind of politics. And we're done with the politics. If we have to say we don't want to do politics, we want leadership. We don't, because everybody.
Mato, maybe just a point of information as far as perception, because what you're explaining is not perception. Perception is a strong belief in something. For example, the leadership that you're talking of is also a perception. So how do people perceive? Perception means it might not be true, but people think that that is the right thing. So this perception is normally developed through a narrative. Like say, right now, Ruto has created a narrative of Singapore. So how do people see Singapore? How do they perceive Singapore? We might not be heading to Singapore, but we might have a belief that Singapore is a good thing. That is what we call perception. Perception, we believe that Raila stood for democracy, despite the fact that people like Muzalendo, who worked close to Raila, had a contrary maybe opinion. We've those people who knew that Raila did not stand for democracy and such kind of things, but majority believe that Raila stood for democracy. That is what we call perception. That is what wins election worldwide. The election is won on perception. How did Trump win? People perceive that Trump is going to bring back that greatness, the real American. That is why he managed to beat the opponent. So you get it.
I get what you're saying, but this is being overtaken by the new generation and people like me included, that really, and I cannot be here saying Mzalendo is white just because there's a perception of Mzalendo is white, that have created that perception. Nimpake mafuta akai white. And then now I say, that's the perception. That's where we need to go. It's just nonsensical, because it goes across. I mean, it goes against the logic of your brain, and against what exactly is real. It's kind of like giving me a white cap and then I tell you that's a black cap or it's a blue cap. Then at that point, and that's why you find people, the so-called politicians, I'm not gonna call them leaders, the so-called politicians, they come out and watusiane, and then unapatana nao watu walikuwa wanakunywa pamoja ama walikuwa wanafanya nini together, and whatever, is because that perception. We don't need perception, we need public service. I've said this a long time ago. Tukiwa hapa, Mzalendo was here, you were here, and most of other panelists, who know us, were here. Now, let me come to your point, Raka, Leo. Have we been duped of the numbers of Central? I said it. During our conversations before even election. I told you guys, look at the mass area of the Central and look at the people who are there. There's never numbers there. Numbers are not there. And I gave you guys a good example. I'm not saying just because I come from this area, but I gave you Kitui, Machakos, Makueni, which extends to Mariakani into Mombasa. Mkasema ilikuwa hiyo ni landmass tu, amko watu wako wengi. Okay, I came back and I went to the north, Samburu. And what you're saying, where is Central? Central is just Nyeri. Na ukitoka Nyeri, tafadhali usiniambie hapo ukianza kukaribia Nairobi hapo ni Wakikuyu, because That's metro kabisa. So yes, to your numbers, the reason you're finding them that numbers, and I like that you went statistical on this one. Yes, we've been duped. There's never no numbers. Numbers in Central do not counter. What actually happens is that's the easy. You remember Tarakanidi, both of you. The story of Tarakanidi, where votes were not coming and everything, and then all of a sudden they came and they were more than the registered voters. That debacle. There's never been anything around that area. That has been some exaggerated nonsense by the politicians to just show that they got votes. Most of the politicians are not voted in. Mostly, 80% of the politicians, even the ones sitting today, they are not voted in. They just knew how to do. You remember Waitito stuff that they were saying, oh, kila mtu atoke, and then they come and stack, votes and stuff. And that's what we are trying to say. We are saying right now, we are not talking about the economics or the psychological kind of whatever does by politicians. Unasikia gati, sometimes even they even say, politics ni politics, yengine nyenye endeni mkae huko chini. Politics is perception. No. Or even a politician can talk matope in parliament and they are protected out there. No, we want governorship. We want to be governed. Whoever is going, public service, we want to be. Bro, I was talking to someone yesterday, nikamuuliza, where do you live? Akaniambia Missouri. Nikamuuliza, who's your governor? Akaniambia ajui. Because it's nobody knows. These guys. They don't even do public. What do you call it? Public show, nanini and road shows, na vitu kama hizo. They don't do that thing because you're going to choose a public servant. If you're going to your mayor, but then I even asked the guy, who's your mayor? I don't know. Because where's the mayor's office? I know where it's at. So why can't I go to a mayor's? Why am I able to go to a mayor's place?
But there's one thing that we're not making clear. That person who told me they don't know the mayor or the governor. There's one thing that don't make clear. Where you are in the US, the political party.
Who told you I'm in US? Where?
People vote the party. Once I'm a Democrat, I'll vote all the Democrat candidates. If I'm a Republican, I'll vote the Republican. Why they don't even care? Like our country, where our political parties are not yet stable, they don't stand for anything, but they're just political vehicles to ascend to power. So that is why it is possible. Even if I ask Muzalendo, you won't be able to know the governor that he elected simply because Muzalendo was a Democrat and elected.
But Leo, you're a very smart person. We have to start voting ideology, not perception. When we talk about perception, so unasema nikuje nidanganywe tu, kwa hivyo nimedanganywa sasa niingie huko. So now who's fooling who and who's stupid? Because umeambiwa wewe kwanza wewe ni mjinga, it's a perception. Wacha tukuperceive that tunakaa yellow, sasa basi tukue yellow. Is it ideology? Is it, what are we doing? That's it, wachane nayo. You can call me a fool and tell me because I've perceived you to be a fool, then you need to act like a fool.
I'm listening to you. Muzalendo, do you know your governor? Not the one in Kenya, the one in... Why? I know you voted the political party. So there's a big difference between... That is why we need to build the institutions of the party. But if you keep on defecting to the parties once we lose nominations, then we cannot build strong parties to the level of the ones you're having, whereby I won't care who is elected as long as this person is elected on the Republican Party, and I know the policies of Republican
Gavana
Party.
wangu, unajua gavana wangu ameshinda tu election the other day. She's taking office next year January. Anaitwa Abigail Spamingapaga. Ana jina ingine
Na meya wako?
But the most people voted him because of the party that he associated with.
Ati una meya?
Mimi sijajua meya wangu anaitwa nani. Meya wangu ni nani?
Leo.
But we voted, eh?
Ana Google. Endelea. Ana Google.
No, that is why I was telling you. So that one brings you to the issue of building strong political parties rather than just some elective vehicles to ascend to power. We must have parties that have got structures, they have got what they stand for, and if you're elected in that party, you have to follow specifically what the party stands for. And if you don't do that, the party should be able to discipline you. But if you have parties whereby you are joining the party because that party is popular in a specific region, when you ascend to power, then you feel like, oh, you didn't believe in what that party believed on, so now you want to do your own thing. That is the problem we are having. So as Kenya, we still, instead of giving this democracy to people to be able to be starting parties from here and there, we need to first of all see how do we structure our parties so that they become institutions. That even if you elect a cat, I usually tell Mzalendo, even if you elect a cat, as long as this cat is going to operate under the political party, then their structures, their instructions, and their values that have been enshrined on that party, that this cat will behave the same way Mzalendo is behaving. So we've not reached there. Even though we try, ODM tried, and sometimes we
I agree with you 100%. Eh? I agree with you 100% in what you said. I just want to just not really correct you, but add on something. Yes, the political party, the ideology of the political party, but also under the constitution, staying within the constitution, because the constitution is the key, is not the party's constitution or ideology, but mostly under the constitution, because people are operating away from the constitution and we are forgetting that constitution. And that's why you hear this perception thing, which I'm completely against.
I get you.
Yani you've come to perception. Me, I'm telling you, keep listening to me. I'll give you direction on where this country is going. But so far, I think Ruto is winning in the narrative of where the direction the country wants to take. The opposition is failing drastically on the narrative. They think that politics is about being combative. It's about selling an agenda that is sellable to the people. Matter until you get that right, then you'll be on the same side like in 2022 when you thought that, hey, Baba is winning, Baba is what? And you can also imagine that William Ruto beat the system, beat Raila Odinga, and he didn't have even ODM, people like Leon on his side, but he still managed to win. So with or without even ODM, William Ruto is still going to win the elections because the opposition is not organized. I can't see in the absence
I like
of
that. The problem is that Ruto is not going to win because he's the best candidate or because he's really done what Kenyans expected of him. But he's going to win because we don't have an alternative. Not the question that we have grown wiser to an extent that you cannot just tell us to follow this direction. You can tell us follow this direction, but you cannot stop us from following a certain direction without giving us an alternative direction.
I think for you, Leo, it's a confusion that that came with Baba's death. So for you, if Raila Odinga was still alive and decided to go against Ruto, you'd still be supporting Raila Odinga. So it's not about even an ideology that you have.
I
It is
will be
about
supporting Raila Odinga because he would have given me an alternative. That is one.
the alternative would
But if
be
Raila
no, listen,
himself realized that Ruto's alternative is better than his and supported him,
there is
then you now want to tell me to stop
no.
supporting Ruto and
I think
follow an
Raila
alternative
only.
that is worse.
No, these are the facts. Raila only supported Ruto because of his age was catching up with him, and he knew that he's becoming more irrelevant by the day. That's the reason why he supported William Ruto. There was no way that he was going to vie in
No,
2027.
no, Raila had goofed, and if you hear
He had
to
already blundered, you know.
he blundered with the Gen Z movement. He blundered with it, moving into Ruto's. I mean, trying to do this blood-based
And
nonsense.
the handshake messed him up. And all along, he had been trying to come out of the handshake, but there was no way to come out. He had already messed up, you know.
Yeah,
So
he moved up with that. But now the thing is that you have to look at this, and both of you guys, I'm telling you to look at this. There's no more Raila. So whoever, and people don't like Ruto at all. Now, whoever is gonna run, I hear Leo's I mean side of thinking, and even you Mzalendo, that we really don't know. Even when you ask yourselves, we don't know if it's Matiangi, we don't know if it's who, we don't know if it's whatever. But remember, there's a thing that was going on at the time before Raila goofed, where people were saying, even a mosquito, we will give a mosquito that, our votes, just something, not what we have. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that I feel bad, and I feel bad for Ruto, because should he lose and try to steal election like they're used to, there will be no one to shake hands. I don't believe the people who are going to run this time, there will be anybody willing to shake any hand with anyone. I think it will just kanuke. Assume, yeah, hakuna mtu wa kushake hand. We don't have that soft baba guy now anymore. Saizi kanuke. And that's why I'm warning people.
I think you're trying to overrate the current politicians. That Raila Mpole is the Raila that was bringing the Kunuka. So without Raila, there is no Mpole and there is no Kunuka. So who do you think is going to challenge Ruto's presidency, even if he reads? Let us see if he reads.
Do you remember what happened with Gen Zs?
There's nobody who can do
that pumped Gen Zs. Do you remember?
Mato, can I say something? This is what we are missing. Everybody else who is in the opposition and talking about politics, the only challenge, credible challenge that William Ruto can get in 2027 is the opposition having a clear plan of how they can work with the young people. That is the Gen Zs, those people who stormed in parliament the other day. But so long as they don't have a clear plan and pattern, the way the formation is right now, and the tribal metrics that are in Kenya, Ruto already has penetrated in most of these tribes, like in where Leo comes from. Even if he decides to go the other way around and be in the opposition, a good number of his brothers and sisters will still support William
But
Ruto.
Mzalendo, you're getting it wrong. First of all, Ruto is his own enemy. That's why people are talking about even a mosquito. They didn't care who he was gonna be. Ruto is his own enemy. No one have you walked around and asked people? And even I was in Kenya just the other day. I was asking people, Ruto, utapigia Ruto hapa na mtu mwingine hata isikue Ruto. Yani Ruto is his own worst enemy. So anyone that goes against Ruto will get
No,
it. But
not Zalendo. Mato, I think you are still living in denial. Mato, we were with you. We were with people like Gaucho, and you'll agree with me that the Gaucho that we were with in Eastland and the Gaucho that we are having today is different.
Gaucho ni best yake.
Just
Gaucho
listen, let me finish my point. Gaucho now, Mato, we played in the same mchanga. And the fact that I and Mato decided not to maybe join politics in that way that Gaucho did, that is why we became differently. We were with, you saw this young man called Samuel during the Gen Z things. And if you people were wise enough, you'll be able to learn that there is this thing, these fallacies that are taking of Gen Z, what people type on the Facebook and on internet, and what they tell you and the action they make are different. There is no political identity in our political context that is called the Gen Z identity. It has never been there and it will never be there. The political identities that we are having are the tribes. Every community in this Kenya has got a Gen Z. Every political party in this country have got a Gen Z. They will make noise together on the streets. They will make noise together on the social media platforms. But when they go back home, they go back to default. What is my political identity? And don't be shocked. Those people who hope that there are going to be some difference in the voter, maybe pattern based on the age group, those people are living in denial and they are going to wake up when it is it's long gone. When we go to elections in 2027, like any other election, every Gen Z will get back to their voter identity. And as a matter of fact, the Gen Zs are not even registering for voting. So our voter register is not likely to change in 2027. And if it will change, it will not change more than 2%. Look at the people who are registering currently. The voter registration is going on. The Gen Zs have registered less than 1%. It is good that IBC is making this thing clear so that when we come there, what we need to know that the Gen Zs have failed to turn their social media prowess into voting tool. People want to be able to vote on the TikTok. People want to be able to do such. Those people you are seeing on the streets were not there agitating for anything. They were there creating content to earn some TikTok and YouTube views. And once they're done with that, you'll not see them. There's a certain woman in my village who said, yeye mali Raila alimwacha. I think I would play that video, but it is in a Luo. Akasema mimi sitatoka mali Raila ameniacha, na ni sisi watu kama mimi at her age who votes. Akasema wewe kijana utapelekwa kufanya kazi Kisumu, utapelekwa kufanya kazi huko Nairobi, na saa hizo umekuwa registered voter Siaya. But for me, I will remain here and I will vote the way I've been voting. And when I was a youth,
Leo, you are so wrong. This is a kind of.
I have a question for you.
I'm not wrong. What I'm speaking is what is there on the ground.
No, you are not looking at the reality. What are we doing here right now?
We had the by-election. We did not see the Gen Z effect, number one. We're having border registration.
They had no interest. They had no
when
interest.
are they going to register as voters? Do you only have Gen Zs in Nairobi?
I have a question.
No.
The guy who was elected, was he young or an old man?
Who?
Boyd Were, is he a young
Boyd
man?
Were was elected by old women, not the Gen Zs.
He was not elected. So he was not elected by his age mates.
Not age mates.
He was not elected by the young
people. His age mates have not registered as voters. You know, people, you need to be looking at the statistics.
All right. Okay. I need you to answer this question. Very, very simple. How did the young people manage to storm Parliament and organize a
Storming
demonstration.
parliament and
How did
elections.
they organize that
I'll
demonstration
explain
that
to
you
you. I'll explain to you. You know,
that you
sometimes we need
couldn't
to listen.
organize in your party ODM?
Have you not seen the strikes taking place even in a high school or even primary school by young people? So when it comes to striking and storming, that is left for young people, something that doesn't need. But when it comes to voting, people use voters' card, not
So
physical.
you are
How
saying,
do young people manage to ban dormitories? Does that want to change the leadership?
do you know okay, do you know of a country called Tunisia?
What
Do you
about
know of
Tunisia?
Lebanon?
Those are
Do you
French
know of
colonized
Sudan?
democracies. You can't compare with
Do you
the
know of
British
Egypt?
colonized democracies. My friend, sometimes we need to reason.
No,
Storming
these are
Storming
government.
parliament
These
is
are,
similar to banning a dormitory. Is it the first time students are banning dormitories? Does
what
it
is that?
change
I
education
mean,
policies?
you have not seen young people changing regimes like in Lebanon, in Sudan.
Those are French colonized democracies with poor democratic background.
Do you want me?
British
So you are
colonized
talking now?
democracy.
Do you know what happened in the US?
Okay, so now let me tell you, these people are not going to vote for William Ruto, then they're going to demonstrate and change the presidency. That will never happen in Kenya.
Did you ever hear?
Did
you ever hear about the Black Lives Movement?
Good year, His Excellency. Nobody is going to remove a president demonstration.
I rarely fall in the same road with Mzalendo, and he knows that. But on this one, I'm with him. Let me tell you, we are not here to be ruled by people. We can change it.
My friend, those democracy is what has kept Ruto out of government for the last 60 years, hoping that they can demonstrate and overthrow a government. They started in 1982 until Raila died. Now you are still telling me that some people without IDs, because they can be able to
what are you talking about? Somebody who is in college, how does it not have an ID? Are you for real,
They
Leo?
don't vote. They don't vote. They can only ban parliament, and presidency is not gotten through banning parliament. That will not make the elected president cease to become a president. These things we've tried as a community
let me educate you just a bit, because I think you don't understand where
I don't want to lose this, please. I'm with you on this one. Please.
Yeah, go ahead, Mato.
Leo, let me. What you're trying to say is that, do you know?
No matter how many Kabajans will demonstrate when Ruto is re-elected.
Leo, let somebody speak. Wacha mtu aongee, aseme yake, ndio ukuje uongee, ama akuachie uongee. Unataka kujua?
Leo,
I will be leaving for you my sentence so that you finish, because you seem to know what I'm going to say. So go ahead.
Leo, Baba died, right? Most prominent person we've ever known. Okay, my parents died. Someone else died. So when you start talking about that these young people have no votes, will never vote, will never take, their voters' cards and whatever, and what Mzalendo is also asking you, they are getting their IDs, right? Because you need to have an identity. You have an identity card. So what makes you think that? Okay, my question, wacha nisikimbie mbali sana, because I want Mzalendo is educating you on something, and I don't want to take too much time of him. Are you telling us that venye tu wazazi wetu wakikufa, then the voter registration goes down?
Okay, Mato, before you continue, Siku Katezi, you've asked a good question. Me, I like the statements of fact. Right now, IEBC opened voter registration. We are in the 5th week. The results or the number of new registered voters. Listen, the number of new registered, let me finish. The number of new registered voters is not hidden. It is public. Log into IEBC portal and check the change in registration. They've even analyzed it statistically. according to the age. The Gen Zs have registered less than 1%. So I'm telling you, based on that fact, nothing is going to change in the voter register. If these Gen Zs cannot register now, when are they going to register? So that one means the voting pattern will remain the same. People like me who are voting based on the tribal are the ones who are going to be majority. So those Gen Zs you are telling me that are not going to vote again according to their tribes are going to be less than 5%. If they were registering as voters, then we would be worried that they're going to bring any difference. But the fact that they're not registering as voters should tell you that if you're banking on them, then you are like standing on a foundation made on stand. You are going to wake up when it is already late. The Gen Zs are not registering as voters. The people who are registering as voters are people of Muzalendo's age who are not having IDs before. The statistics and the data is in public. Log into IBC.
They've already registered. The peoples of, me and Mzalendo, we already registered.
You are not a Gen Z. Mzalendo is not a Gen Z. Mato, you are not even a youth. You are above 35. You are not a Gen Z. So why do you want to call yourself Gen Z? I'm talking of the Gen Zs. You are above 35. You are not even a youth that you are telling me. So how are you going to change your mind that you've not been changing before?
Mzalendo, hebu malizana na huyu mtu bwana, ametuambia sisi hata nini yetu ili expire, the voters card ili expire.
Leo wants to create an argument, so the argument is good and healthy on his side, but this is the fact: is that the young people also grow older. The people who you are seeing in the street as Gen Z, they have now become millennials at one point. So there is also time that is flying. So I don't know where you are, because time also flies. They will not be static, that the people you saw 5 years ago will be of the same age when come 2027. There's a new generation of Gen Z who are coming in, who are getting IDs for the first time. The other generation that got IDs are now moving into the other group of millennials. But this is a fact, and it's a global fact that throughout the world, it is the young people who are going to change governments. They are the ones who are going to be the majority everywhere in the world, not Kenya, not. And this is not. This does not exclude Kenya. Every part of the world, Gen Zs will form like 70% of the electorate in the coming elections. That is in Uganda. That is what is. That's the problem that Tanzania is having.
Mzalendo, I'm sorry, I didn't
Let me just
you.
finish.
No, before you finish, I didn't intend to interrupt. I want you to. There's something I'm not getting. Gen Zs will form part of 70%. Why are you speaking as if you cannot access the voter register? How many years are we having? When are they going to register? Do you have the voter register, or I send it to you?
The registration. Just
even
wait.
the population, they're not 70% of the population.
I will play for you a
Be
video.
serious. Seriously.
Let me I mean, do you want them to go like to go and register tomorrow, or do you want them to register when the register is still open? When do you want them to register?
The register is open. We have 5
But
weeks.
when do you want them to register?
So
they
when
will
are they
register. They will register their own time.
When?
Why are you giving? Why are they pushing? You are not a Gen Z, so they know their program. They know when they are going to register. I mean, they have got a plan. These guys, when they were organizing them demonstration, were we asking them, when are you going to be on the streets? We kept on asking, then they appear on a different date. They have got a plan. And I'm telling you, this will catch you so off guard that you don't even know what you will do.
So they've got a plan, as if they're the ones who are holding the voter register, who will organize
the voter
date
register is still open. It is not closed. If you are talking like this and the voter register has been closed,
you
then
don't
that's
just
a
go on the
different
street
thing.
and say, today we want to be registered. There's a timeline, Mzalendo. Why do we have to behave?
The voter register is still open. Why are you in a hurry for them to register?
Okay. So they are not.
That is working to your advantage. That is
they
you
don't
should
see
not be
urgency.
telling them
No,
to
listen.
register.
Mzalendo, look at this fact. To remove the president, you need to be a registered voter. Somebody has got an urgency to remove the president, but doesn't see urgency in registering as a voter. And you think that person is going to make any change?
All right, to be employed, you need to have a voter's card, and you also need to have an ID. Yeah, you also need to have an ID.
So I have an urgency to remove the president, and I don't
These
see
guys have already gone even ahead and created an alternative voting tallying. They are, yani wewe uko nyuma aje? These guys have already created a software where they are going to vote on their own.
They are going to vote for their own. Who tallies? Are they the IEBC?
They are going to tally their own
These
vote.
are the things that made us as ODM lose. We used to say we are having a tallying center, a contrary tallying center.
ODM ulikuwa unapiga left right center without an ideology.
If you still find that crap, then you guys
the ODM, you didn't even have a message.
So
for
the Gen Z
people.
are having their tallying center. They are going to tally whose votes. ODM had a tallying center and they didn't have votes to tally. Whose votes are they going to tally?
No, ODM did not have any tallying
system to tally
ODM did not have any tallying center.
But you don't need a tallying center. You need votes. So
why are you telling us they had a tallying center and they didn't have? Ruto had a tallying center. Ruto won the election because he had a tallying center too.
Not because he had a tallying center. Ruto won the election because he had the votes, not the tallying center.
He had the tallying center, he had the votes, and he had the strategy.
So
I thought you said the other time that
they have a tallying center to go and tally Ruto's votes. Whose votes are they going to tally in tallying centers?
Lest we forget, Ruto never won.
Sikia Mato ndio huyo amekwambia Ruto never was. Mato was in your camp the other time. Mlikuwa mnasema Ruto never won and mlikuwa mnaenda kwa barabara and you already even set a date on March 15th to storm State House. What happened?
Tuligongwa.
Mato ndio huyo anakuambia mligongwa.
Mato was enjoying some Kenyan coffee.
Mato, hebu nikuulize, hebu kidogo tu Leo. Wacha tu niulize Mato swali moja. Mato, hiyo siku Gen Z have been on your side. Ingekuaje Kenya?
Kangekuwa kamenuka.
Ama skule Gen Z walikuwa na demonstrate, Raila Odinga angeambia wafuasi yake kama hii Leo anapiga kelele hapa, ingie kwa barabara, ingekuaje Kenya?
Rally ingengolewa number 1 na nini na inaitwaje hiyo State House tungekuwa igebebwa ipelekwe ndio maana like if you have
in the Kenyan constitution hakuna mali nasema president resigned with people demonstrating.
If you had this this
kind of thing.
Wewe Raila alikwambiaje? Alikwambia the army was coming to the streets, and when the army comes to the streets it says one thing. Serikali sasa mkae kama raia.
Which article
you are talking about a constitution when there is a coup. What are you talking about? What logic are you using?
Coup in Kenya.
Let me tell you.
What are you talking about? Why did Raila Odinga join
French colonized democracy?
No, why did Raila Odinga join Ruto?
Leo.
Stabilize the government. It was not going to be stable. And
What
Ruto tells you all the time.
Raila joined Ruto because Raila realized that there was nothing he could do about it.
No, yes, to
Ruto would have managed it very well. He realized
unaongea mbaya juu ya baba ndio juu sahihi yuko. Sasa unaweza fungua hiyo mdomo yako ati there was nothing Raila could do about it. Yani unaweza ongea mbaya sahihi.
No. There's one thing I like with Raila. Raila was a calculative politician. He would see why did Raila do Kibaki? Not that Raila told Kibaki is what was going to make Kibaki win. Raila realized that Nyachai was going to get nothing. He will not win.
Listen to
Simon. Kibaki winning was high. Was a smart politician. He jumped and ran ahead of everyone and said Kibaki was not that without Raila Kibaki would not have won. But Raila ni mtu wa kusoma. The same way I can go there's nothing what do you do as a smart politician? Join it. You can't be doing that. Then you want to sit somewhere. Who doesn't have a because they can ban state house and ban
Omera.
What do you
say? Whatever you are thinking today, Ivana, acha Mato aongee kidogo.
Hata amefanya nikaongea Kijaluo. Omera ya
do you know, Omera, do you know we are going to have a referendum, a constitutional review? And we might come up with the ODM proposal of a 7-year one-term president, so that if we do a constitutional review, it will be because the law is not
Ruto hawezi kubali upuzi kama hiyo. Hiyo ni upuzi tu za ODM. Hiyo inaweza kuwa propose na unaona. That is why I fear ODM joining my party UDA. That is what I fear. This kind of nonsense unaleta hiyo mjinga unaleta tio ati sasa ati Ruto ati we suspend the constitution that Ruto can rule forever. Hizo ni ujinga unapata.
No, we are not suspending the constitution. Remember, the provisions allow what is called constitutional review. We are going to review
that.
These years. Listen, these years, what are we achieving and what can we change? One of them is we don't want this 5 years, 5 years. Can we make it one term? Yeah, 7 years, then we make it one term. Then if you make it one term, it means Ruto will have an opportunity. So you go for one term. Yeah, 7 years. It is constitutional. And since ODM is run by smart brain, and
nyamaza mtu mwingine aongee bwana. Acha Mato aongee kidogo.
Mato ongea.
Please, let's venye mzalendo tu anasema hapa hivi, and you know we've been in these channels for a long time. It doesn't make any sense kukimbia kila mtu akitaka kusema kitu like mzalendo amesema. It's good to unyamaza. Si mimi na nyamaza. Please, I've been a moderator. No, you've been in tukiwa hapa sisi wote. Just let someone talk. But not a semi vitu mingi. I wanted to answer what Mzalendo asked. Kama, what the problem was if Raila never said anything and went to the broad-based. Mzalendo, honest to God, Ruto was gone. Is the love of Raila and venye aliongea. And that's why if you listen to his mwenye alikuwa anamfanyanga campaigns, the journalist, what's his name? I don't know, it's not Linus. But if you listen to him, mwenye alikuwa akifanyanga unscripted something journalism, alikuwa analetaga nini, he was in Baba's campaign team.
Nani huyu ni Leto ama huyu Agunda, I think.
Yes, something of the sort, nitakwambia. Lakini yeah, but I know you know who I'm talking about. Alikuwa kwa campaign yake. Alisema vizuri kabisa, akasema Baba alienda akijaribu kugeuzia kitu because alikuwa amekosea vijana. He was trying to correct his mistakes. So he went with the mistake that the Gen Z or the movement walikuwa wanaenda kutoa Baba Rosafi. Na yeye alikuwa kutoa Ruto Rosafi alikuwa ameenda. Baba tu ndo aliokoa, and ukisikiza interview yake akiwa na Kinandu, he says very well that Baba alienda kama na regret your decision. That's why aliuliza, who told you ODM itakuwa na watu? He was not part of it, but he knew he had made a mistake, na yeye ndo alifanya watu wakaacha. Lakini walikuwa wameendea ule jamaa, walikuwa namuendea kufa makanga, kufa dereva. If you all remember that.
Mato, thing with you is that you people live in some countries with some democracies, and I sometimes feel bad when you hear about countries to fail. I've been in countries that have failed because of this kind of thing. You've seen what has been happening in West Africa. When I hear something like with all due respect, with the title cheering, worshiping, you know the so do we have a coup as part of the Kenyan constitution? After Ruto Kuenda, which process was used to get the president? You guys, I think unless you ambassadors of the Western countries who thrive and enjoy when countries fail.
I told you you have to be my leader. I give you the right. The constitution, chapter 6 of the
constitution. Most of the people who are supporting these are people like you, Mato. You're not living in Kenya. And you are the one who is going to bear the greatest risk when your people in Kambani will be suffering there because there's no government, there's disorder. Those people who thrive in disorder are the Western bodies.
Talking about keep on saying you keep, that's your narrative. We know
my
it.
friend, we have learned lessons. Tell me of any country that has had a peaceful coup. Coup and peace are two different things.
Traore, Madagascar. Even yours lovely there.
Is a country with a corporate constitution. A constitution. Don't talk of some French colonized those French colonized colonizers. Those are pariah countries or countries that are still the francophones that are still puppet of their colonizers. You want to compare with a democratic country like Kenya? You guys are joking too much.
Wait, did Traore get the country from a colonizer?
He tries a pup. Those are, I don't know. I don't even know what I need to tell you.
When he came in as a coup, did he get it from a colonizer?
What have they achieved so far?
Huh? Which was the last country to get independence in Africa?
You know, Mato, let me just answer Leo's by simply saying, you know, picketing and things, demonstrations, they are in our constitution, and those countries that have liberated have had economic liberations. The people took to the streets and they changed the regimes. It's a normal thing. I am not saying that that is what should happen ideally in a democratic country where there is where we have a government that is elected by the people. So if we have things that are going well in a democratic country, then you don't need us. You don't need to picket when there is things that are going well. But if things are not going well, that is a provision in the constitution. It's allowed that you can picket, you can demonstrate, and to remove the government of the day. Now, what the constitution does not, our constitution did not address, and so many other constitutions in around the world, Lebanon, Egypt, Tunisia, they never saw a situation whereby the people are revolting against the government. Then what next? The army takes over, then an election is organized. But the fear of Raila Odinga was,
at that time we didn't even have electoral bodies. So who was going to organize the elections?
Your time. Let me just finish. The fear of Raila Odinga was so simple that if the army took over the Kenyan government, he didn't know when they will hand over power to the people. That was the greatest fear. So they would rather protect what they have than to allow a military takeover. That was so simple. What don't you understand by that? What don't you understand by that?
But you're saying it was wrong. So you wanted us to go to a long way.
everything that those kids were doing, those young people were doing, is correct.
It was
Everything
out
that
of
Raila,
ignorance. Don't say it's correct. What they were
what do
doing
you
was
mean?
out of
When you were
ignorance.
carrying sufurias on your head, it was ignorance.
When we were carrying sufurias, we were trying to make William
What
lose.
were you trying when you were carrying sufurias on your head?
We wanted him to behave not to leave the office.
We wanted him to, what? You were carrying sufurias on the head for what? Because there was something that you wanted the presidency to address. And it is simple. And that's the reason why you are on the streets. And remember, there was a time that ODM was on the street every Monday. And for reforms. They were agitating for reforms. So it is allowed and it is in the constitution. Don't say that people who are picketing are silly. Every other person who has been, even the current president, even the current, were it not for Ruto, Raila Odinga would not have been prime minister. What are you talking about? It is the picketing that was happening in Rift Valley that made Raila Odinga the prime minister.
But it did not stop Kibaki from becoming the president. So that's
no, but there was a solution. It stopped him. It brought him to the
There was
table.
no solution. It did not
brought
stop
him to the table. What do you mean? This constitution that we have right now, we came as about because of that, and that is why we are reviewing it. It was to live at a lifetime of about 10 years or something like that. Then we review it and go to our normal setup. So don't say things that we just want to argue to create an argument. No, we want to argue so that we can educate our people, give them right civic education. But you see now you are tunaongea tu. Wacha tuambie watu ukweli kuliko kudanganya wananchi. Ni sawa Mato.
Leo sidhani kama Leo anajua a constitution is a moving document. It's just an agreement between how we are going to live with each other. I don't have to follow the constitution. I can decide you're not going to rule me. So the fact that unasema umechaguliwa, it means nothing until I agree with that constitution. The reason that umechaguliwa, even that election, ni constitution yenye ina agree mtu achaguliwe ndio a lead, akuwe a leader. Other than that, we can decide we don't want any leaders and we move on without no leaders. Hakuna mtu amekuwa hapo ati yeye ati kwa sababu alichaguliwa. No, that constitution is an agreement of how we are going to live. It's just like the covenant in the Bible. Without that, bila kukubaliana, tunaweza amua tutaki hata. We don't even need a president. We don't even need a governor. We don't even need anything. We just want to be ourselves. Leave me, kaa kwako ni kaa kwangu. Nikikupata kwa nyumba yangu na chapa wewe, na ukikufa na hakuna koti inanipeleka mahali. Even the people in jail, they are there because of a constitution, because they broke a rule of a constitution, of an agreement of what we agreed we are going to live. These are the rules and the laws of the country, of how we are going to live. But then when you come and find these people, the career politicians, people like Ruto, sorry, I'll use him, but people who think they're above the law, then we can decide we don't have an agreement anymore. And that is entrenched. Chapter 36 of our constitution is entrenched there. Says, even chapter 1 ya kwanza inaanzia hapo. And that's why, Leo, we're trying to tell you, and I like how Mzalendo brought it up, because maybe I may letter in a very nicer way than I bring it. That what Kina Gen Z were doing, it was their constitutional right. And this thing of telling us sijui Wakikuyu, sijui Wakale, sijui nini, and I have never understood this between both of you. Why we concentrate on that side, yet the country is bigger than that. I mean, there are other people. I know mtaniambia Kalonzo, but mimi siko kwa Kalonzo. But the Giriamas, the Taitas, all those people, why do we have to concentrate on one side? And the Constitution has never said it's just good for one side. That's why one time we almost divided the country. We said, watu wakae side yao, sisi tukae side yetu. Wakina kama Leo hao wakae wachukuliwe na Museveni. Na Museveni anakutaka Leo, by the way. You are supposed to be in Uganda. Because huko ndo unakaa ni kama unataka. But I'm just trying to be comical in a certain way, and I hope people, I mean, what one understand when you, our listeners, and just what Mzalendo was saying. It's the people have the say. It's not the political people, and it's not about who comes from what kind of region. They came and said, the young people came and said, we are tribeless, we are leaderless. And nobody complained. And by the way, they were going to do it. And they changed something. Even though Ruto alirudi chini ya maji akairudisha na huko ndani ndani, they were fighting about the finance bill. But they made a change. Madagascar has done it. Traore in his place, they've done it. Even coups are not bad. If the military sees something is wrong, they need to get in there. I rest my case for now.
Then Ashari time, I think the conversation was good, Mzee. You people have been here for 3 hours, 40 minutes. That is great. We need to hook up again and have this kind of conversations. And one thing that comes out is that as far as we might not like William Ruto, but the alternative that is there is not serious enough to convince us so that we can be able to work with them. So maybe people and some who are close to them might reach them and tell them to change their tactics so that Kenyans can be able to identify with them. So, Zalina, I don't know if you're around because we can end it from there. And all the viewers.
Let me give you a laugh real quick.
Yes, you are
Leo, the thing with Ruto is we don't, personally, I will say, from the people that I know, we don't hate Ruto because he's a human being. We hate him for his past. And not even his past, in what he's doing. It's kind of like when Pablo Escobar got his way into being in Congress of his country. Someone was, and they died. Someone was there to say that this guy has been this and this and that and that. It's just his hunger for being the Uhurus, in which we also had a problem with Uhuru, but of these people, he just has an hunger of becoming either the richest person, but again, he has very not even hidden skeletons. His skeletons are open in blunt day. You can see his skeletons. You look at his history, he's not there. You had even his own people, CSs, quit and say that he's way too much. You've had the slapping of Uhuru. You've had the kufinywa mkono ya Fred Mutua. You've had all those things. I have a personal one with him. And a lot of people will tell you that. And that's why you even hear the things of, well, kijana unaniongelesha kama nani. We all saw that. And the thing is that also his decision making is just, it's all about, I used to say kutenga, tumetenga, tumefanya, tumenini, tumetenga, umetenga na nani. We want a country that is not about nini, things that are just being spoken like, now we've come from hustler. He's now a dynasty, right? Okay. Now we are hearing now Singapore. Now we're not saying that Kenya cannot be Singapore. Of course, we want Kenya to go to Singapore, even the I mean, not even the US. Just be the best country that anyone can live in. We want that. But at what expense? Is it at the expense of our people? Is it, do we want good governance? Do we want this being exported to go work somewhere else? Why can't our own country be our own country where we are happy and proud to be in our country? And what is this hula baloo jumping up and down of politics? Mzalendo, me, that's all I'm asking for. Like just good governance, where me and you can go and sit in our country, and not even wish to go somewhere else, not wish to be. I mean, kila mtu akae kwao. I was so happy when Trump came and said that amekata USAID. We don't need no aid. We can do it our own selves. So maybe that's where I am. I'm not about at his numbers, what people are talking about. At his numbers, if you get these numbers, if you do what numbers, what? It shouldn't be about numbers. It should be about the ideology and the constitution, and just a reality of what needs to be done, not a puppet. Someone who just wants to show off, wants to go everywhere, wants per DMs, everything. I mean, just wanting to show. I mean, do you know how many trips this man has made within 3 years? Huh? I mean, Mzalendo, there's a time Uhuru said, kila mtu aendeshe Passat. But this guy is, I mean, it's just flamboyant. For him, he just wants to make money, look big, and if you play ukicheza naye uokotwe. That's the whole thing I'm saying. Anyways, according to chapter 6, he shouldn't even be the president. Shit.
Which chapter 6 is that what you're talking about? Ruto was let us get not those are things that are his question is not that he is.
Uhuru never killed anyone.
Who did Ruto kill?
Leo, I think it's time for us to wind up this, and that brings us to an end of tonight's discussion. We have explored the deep divisions within ODM, the debate of joining government, and what it all means for Kenya's political future. From Orengo's insistence on principle and opposition to moderates arguing here like Leo and Mato and everybody else who has been here. Asanteni sana. It is clear that the party stands at a crossroads. The bigger question, however, goes beyond politicians. It is about the people, the expectations, and the development that must reach every constituency. The story is far from over. We will continue to follow these developments and hold our leaders accountable, because in Kenya, politics cannot be just about power. must be about service, trust, and delivery. Thank you, Themba. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Mato. Please be coming to the studio. Thank you for joining us. To our viewers, thank you for tuning in and stay informed, stay engaged, and join us next time on Africa 24, where the conversation never stops. Good night, Kwarini. Yeah.